before result. That's what we try and do all the time. Sometimes we are successful, which is 94% time, and sometimes we could not.
Kursi lao, bhai, kursi lao. What are you most nervous about today?
My home state,
Madhya Pradesh.
Madhya Pradesh.
And your sasural is in
Chhattisgarh, and I studied in Telangana, Kakatiya University. So 3 states at the stake at this point of time.
And of that, you're most nervous about Madhya Pradesh?
No, I am not nervous about Madhya Pradesh, because Madhya Pradesh, I cannot afford to go wrong for sure.
Why not? Joote padenge ghar jaoge.
Joote padenge. I cannot show my face.
I can't go back home.
And that to my own constituency, Varasivni constituency, last time also independent one there. Can you believe that?
Did you get it right or wrong?
100% right. So expectation are rising high in my home.
No, but you know, as I've been saying from the time we started, we want to keep expectation real. See, in the World Cup, India won 10 matches straight, right? And then everybody thought, oh, to sahi hone wala hai, ho hi nahi sakta, India ko jitna hi jitna, and then they didn't really win, right? So we don't want to end up in that kind of a situation. Gupta ji, your chair is here. Please come and sit.
Thank you, ji.
Park yourself.
Kursi ka sawal hai.
Our producers have their music already. Rajdeep's been practicing his dance moves. Rajdeep, have you? You're all set to jive?
No, I think we'll wait. Look, the dance will come if our numbers are right. We already have a few.
So what comes if the numbers are not right, God forbid?
We'll just sit and, we'll still analyze. It's still an election at the end of the day. You can get them right or wrong. But I think Rajasthan is fascinating since you're talking about it.
No, but I was told by somebody in Gupta ji's team, he now as a choreographer, he's been practicing his moves. Somebody told him he really
he's a natural dancer, I'm not. You see, the difference between Gupta ji and me is that he's a natural dancer.
He's blushing.
Plus,
boss, don't blush about dancing, blush about your numbers.
Plus, Gupta ji's bank balance has been rising. Mine hasn't. So you see, all of that means that Gupta ji has more to celebrate in 2023 than I do.
You asked me one more thing why I'm nervous, because being my home state, Madhya Pradesh, I have been getting more than 200 calls almost every day or every alternate day.
And they saying, "Aap hi lad jao chunav."
It is very difficult for me to make people understand. मेरा जो मुंह है वो एक हमारे गांव में कहावत होती है, किसान जो होता है कोलू का बैल, आई एम लाइक अ बुल. कोलू का बैल होता है जो हार्वेस्टिंग के समय पे प्रोसेसिंग में वो बैल के मुंह में कपड़ा बांध देते हैं इसलिए कि वो फसल खा ना जाए. तो माई क्लाइंट्स आर लाइक दैट. वो मेरे मुंह में कपड़ा बांध देते हैं, वो कहते हैं तुम पहले ही बता दोगे तो मेरा चैनल कौन देखेगा भाई.
As long as he's not a bull in a china shop, we're okay. We don't want him to be a bull in a china shop.
Commission checks their results with you. Is that also the case? They are like, ठीक लग रहा है आपको?
You are being very kind. Nothing like that. And this is how we do. Our Access My India team goes to not only each and every assembly constituencies, but at least 10 to 15 villages and cities and towns of that constituency, and that is what makes our poll whatever it is.
I think, to come back to Rajasthan, because I think what you're seeing in Rajasthan is a transformation. When you showed those first numbers and you can put them on, Kaun Banega Chief Minister. Traditionally, you would have had Vasundhara Raje out there. She would have been the face of the BJP. She's been the face for the last 20 years. Now, the moment you don't project her, you suddenly find that Ashok Gehlot, who has towered over all else, including the Gandhi family. You look at the posters in Rajasthan, particularly 6 months ago, it was all about Gehlot. As the election came closer, he was sharing space in the odd poster with a Rahul Gandhi or a Priyanka Gandhi Vadra. But a relatively, or seen as a non-charismatic leader, not a personality cult, suddenly finds himself at the age of 72 being transformed into this larger-than-life figure in Rajasthan politics.
Okay.
I don't think even he would have imagined that the day would come.
I want to start showing our viewers the numbers for Rajasthan. We'll start with the gender-wise breakup, men and women. And we saw in Chhattisgarh how there was a big gap between the number of men voting for the BJP and the women voting for the BJP, and likewise the Congress. So there's a big difference between how genders are voting, and they're not always voting the same way. Let's show you the gender-wise breakup for Rajasthan. Again, very interesting. We've seen in many states women voting for the BJP much more than the Congress. Is it the same or the other way around in Rajasthan? Here it is on your screen for the first time, the gender-wise breakup of Rajasthan. And oh boy, is this a confusing picture or what? Amongst men, the BJP leads over the Congress. 42% votes amongst the men voters of Rajasthan for the Bharatiya Janata Party. 40% men voted for the Congress. That's a 2% gap. The BJP increasing its vote share amongst women by 4 from the last time. If you looked at how men voted, Well, it would seem the BJP is through. They've got a 2% lead in a bipolar election. That looks comfortable. Just come across to the other side of the table. Amongst the women voters of Rajasthan, 44% of the women said they voted for the Congress versus 40% for the BJP. Congress and Gehlot increasing their votes amongst women by 4%. Preeti, a lot of the social schemes of Ashok Gehlot giving him this, because the Prime Minister, the BJP typically thinks because of all their schemes for women, they've got women voters rooting for them. In Rajasthan, it's Gehlot who's got 4% additional votes from the last time amongst the women.
Well, you're right there, and I saw that, Rahul, you cut across regions, what you saw, the women talking of, and I'll give you, for example, a cylinder, which is 500 rupees. Then they talk about the Indira Smartphone Yojana, which is that, that women in Rajasthan would be given a smartphone. It started off from the widow women and then, to college-going girls. So a lot of these women have been given these smartphones as well. They're talking about that. One might forget or think that Chiranjeevi Yojana, which is their health scheme, is not targeted at women. But women look at it and talk about it a lot because the budget is from their own account. So a lot of the women spoke of the health scheme which Gehlot has offered. And in terms of that, I'll tell you a really funny story. I remember I was in Sikar and I was sitting and I had these college girls with me, and one was a BJP supporter, one was a Congress supporter, but away from ideology, they are thinking and they're asking me, देखिए मैडम, अगर बीजेपी जीतती है तो वो हमको स्कूटी देगी, अगर कांग्रेस जीतती है वो लैपटॉप देगी, हमको लगता है स्कूटी बेहतर है, लैपटॉप तो पापा दिला देंगे. So that's how transactional they've become.
So now, if men and women threw you off and you're wondering, oh my God, if that's the case, then who's winning? Let me show you what's happening in the different geographies of Rajasthan. So we look at urban areas in Rajasthan, we look at rural areas in Rajasthan. In rural areas, you've got the Congress leading over the BJP. So the Congress has 43% of the vote share. The BJP has 40% of the vote share. In the rural areas, in the urban areas, the BJP at 44% of the vote share, the Congress at 42%. So Congress is 2% behind in rural areas, but 2% ahead in urban areas. But the thing is that because there are more rural areas in a state like Rajasthan than the urban areas, that is to the Congress's advantage. Let's now show you the caste-wise breakup of Rajasthan. And this again is very interesting because communities, castes voting very differently from each other. So we'll start with the Dalits. There are 18% Dalits in the state of Rajasthan. 57% of them said they voted for the Congress. Only 26% voting for the BJP. Amongst the tribals, and the BJP made a big tribal outreach in Rajasthan. 15% of the total population is tribals. 51% of the voters said they voted for the Congress. 29% said they voted for the BJP. Amongst the Dalits and amongst the tribals, the Congress doing extremely well. Amongst the Muslims, there are 9% Muslim voters in Rajasthan. 83% of them voted for the Congress. If these were the only three communities voting, the Congress was home. However, let's now go beyond that because there are 20% general category voters. Amongst them, 62% voted for the BJP. 62% versus 22% voting for the Congress. Can we move on, please? I want to show you what the Jats said. There are 10% Jats in Rajasthan. Out of them, 42% said they voted for the BJP. 36% said they voted for the Congress. Amongst the Gujars, 43% voting for the BJP, 39% voting for the Congress. Amongst the OBCs, 55% voting for the BJP, 29% voting for the Congress. That 21% OBC voters. That Gupta ji, बहुत बड़ा मुश्किल काम है आपका. When voting patterns are so divided, it's not a trend election where everybody is voting one way, and if everything's flowing one way, it's much easier to count your beans. In this election, Gupta ji, your neck is on the chopping block.
Yeah, definitely yes, Rahul, because here there are three blocks to be precise. One is that SC, STs, Muslims, which contributes 42% of the population. The other blocks is Rajput, Brahman and OBCs, which again contributes about 42%. But what is most important here is the Gurjar and Jat votes, which is roughly 14%. So bulk lion share is of the ST, SC and Muslim goes to the Congress, and the lion share of OBCs, Brahman and general and Rajput goes to the BJP. But if you see that in Gurjar and Jat, though BJP is scoring little more than Congress, but the kind of consolidation done in rural areas by the Congress, I think Congress seems to be little ahead than the BJP. And when vote share comes, BJP always winning with big margins in urban areas. Last time both the parties secured 39% each, but see the difference in seats, 72 to BJP and 100 to Congress. This is the difference. This is what the story of Rajasthan, which is so difficult geographically also.
You know, I think there was a sense that the youth voter had deserted the BJP. There were huge paper leak scandals that have angered the youth. This is a state with a high level of joblessness. And at some stage, you're going to have to look at the youth voter. You know, the 18 to 25 voter is just as important over time as is the woman voter. Woman voter, of course, much larger in size. But in Rajasthan, you'll find that the younger voter is the one whom the BJP was able to attract. But it's the woman voter. Look at Gehlot, 44 to 40. The schemes directed at women. You see, when you have a generic scheme, it may not have the same importance. But with Chiranjeevi, which was the buzzword, Chiranjeevi is the one scheme, the health insurance scheme, which in every village at least has become a talking point. People know about it. I think one of the successes of Ashok Gehlot is in the last year was able to communicate, I can give you 25 lakh insurance for any operation you do. Now, who is the major beneficiary of it? Men and women. But women remember it more. You see, if you contribute to health education, that's a lesson that's coming out. Women will remember you. And I think if Ashok Gehlot is able to pull off and beat this rivage of Rajasthan of 5 years, it's because his delivery schemes have been aimed at the more vulnerable sections. Pradeep's numbers clearly show rural Rajasthan is where the election is won or lost. If Ashok Gehlot is able to maintain this lead in large parts of rural Rajasthan, he's got a real chance. And this at a time when you would have thought, again, like Chhattisgarh, where you thought Baghel is through, 6 months ago you were writing off Gehlot. You thought Gehlot is over, Pilot has rebelled against him, the Gujars have left him, the BJP is going to come naturally back to power as part of the 5-year cycle. Guess what? Ashok Gehlot is fighting back. So this is one of the stories within a story that if these numbers are right, then Ashok Gehlot cannot be written off, and he's transformed himself at the age of 72 into a potential vote catcher, Rahul.
You know, the first 4 regions of Rajasthan, we now have the data for. So I'll take you through the data for the first 4 regions of Rajasthan. So I'll start with Bikaner, Jaisalmer. There are 20 seats here, 19 of them went to the polls. Bikaner, Ganganagar, Hanumangarh and Jaisalmer. Here are the forecasts of Access My India and India Today for the belt of Bikaner, Jaisalmer. The Congress expected to bag 11 seats here, the BJP 6. So the Congress in the first region, yes, you can pull out your papers or your pens and you can take your own maths if you want to get to us before we actually put out the numbers, you can do that too. But 11 versus 6 in Jaisalmer, Bikaner, the Congress having the edge. Let's now come to Shekhawati. 21 seats here, Churu, Jhunjhunu and Sikar. In the region of Shekhawati, let me show you the numbers for the region. Here, the Congress again has the edge. 12 seats for the Congress, 7 for the BJP, a 3% gap in terms of vote share, 42 plays 39. The Congress winning 2 regions. So the Congress off to a good start. If this was cricket, the Congress off to a good start in the region-wise breakup of Rajasthan.
And this is a particularly important region. This is the Jat belt. You see, traditionally, you win elections in Rajasthan if you win Mewar. That's the buzz in Rajasthan. Jo jeetta hai Mewar, wo chunav jeetta hai. But you have to win, in my view, Shekhawati and Eastern Rajasthan. For the BJP to win Rajasthan, they've got to turn around Shekhawati and Rajasthan.
Shekhawati history has been, they will go where the state goes.
And what is interesting here is my friend Hanuman Beniwal seems down and out.
Hanuman Beniwal actually is not very influential in Shekhawati. He's more influential in the Nagaur area.
No, they've included the seats here. I think they've included the district here. Therefore, I sense that he hasn't done as well as perhaps he would have hoped to do.
But if you look at it, look at Hanuman Beniwal's party. The RLP, 23 seats were 2018, where it came third in number. But if you look at it harmed the BJP more. 17 of those seats where it ate into the BJP share. So even if the Jat vote is getting eaten up, it's at the cost of the BJP by the RLP.
Let's come now to Ahirwal. This is the third region of Rajasthan, the first two going to the Congress. The third one, let's see what's happening in Ahirwal. This is Alwar, Bharatpur, Dholpur, which is where Vasundhara Raje Scindia comes from. So 11 seats in Alwar, 7 in Bharatpur, 4 in Dholpur. In that, a very tight fight. 9 leads for the BJP, 10 for the Congress. So it's a 1% gap in vote share. 39 is playing 40. And only a 1% gap in seat share, one seat gap between the BJP and the Congress, 10 versus 9. From there, let's come to Mewar, which is Banswara, Bhilwara, Chittorgarh, Dungarpur, Pratapgarh, Udaipur. Let's show you what's happening in Mewar, also called the Wagad area. 35 seats here. Let's show you what's happening in Mewar for the first time on your screen. First 3 going to the Congress. Now, is there a twist in this tale? The story seems to be changing because in the Mewar area, the BJP winning quite comfortably. 20 leads for the BJP in Mewar versus 12 for the Congress, 8-seat gap. So a lot of the leads that the Congress had picked up in the first 3 regions wiped out the moment we come to Mewar. 20 versus 12. आप तो प्रदीप जी हार्ट अटैक कराओगे किसी का?
See, Mewar also last time, Rajdeep though said the same number of seats what our poll is showing, 12 to Congress and 20 to BJP. It was same. Mewar has been very, very strong for
the
BJP. Yeah.
Interesting again, because in Mewar, you would have expected some of the smaller parties like the BTP, which picked up seats last time. But the BTP this time is down as per your survey. You've got 3. I'm presuming the 3 others are the BTP.
Now BTP become
which
Bap.
is in Dungarpur.
Now
Yeah,
Bap.
now
BTP
changed.
become Bap.
Because they've broken, the party
Yes,
has broken. This
yes.
is the party of Chotubhai Vasava,
Yeah.
tribal party which won 3 seats last time in Dungarpur. Presumably they're winning those 3 seats again.
2 for sure.
Okay,
2 for
let's
sure.
now come to Marwar. This is also called the Gorwar area. 41 seats here. This includes the area of Barmer, Jalore, Jodhpur, Nagaur, Pali and Sirohi. So in the 41 seats of the Marwar area, let's take our viewers through what Gupta ji is predicting for India today. And remember, in the first 3 regions, the Congress had a lead, a slender lead. In the 4th region that we showed you of Mewar, the BJP winning quite handsomely. So what's happening in Marwar? Let's take you through what's the trend in these 41 seats of Marwar. I also have trends now for the region of Hadoti. 17 seats in Hadoti. I'll take you through these 17 seats as well. This includes Bundi, Jhalawar, Kota, Baran. Let's take you through what's happening in Hadoti. Here again, the second region where the BJP is now in the lead. So it's 3 versus 2. 11 leads here for the BJP, 6 for the Congress. The BJP has a 3% vote share gap in the smallest region of Hadoti. The smallest region of Rajasthan, the BJP with a 5-seat lead advantage. So remember 7 total regions in Rajasthan. We've shown you for the first 5. In the first 5, the Congress currently leading on 3, the BJP on 2. And Chetan, you thought that cricket commentary is more interesting. Boss, this is going ball by ball, region by region.
This is the same what happened after 10 overs.
After 10 overs?
In the India-Australia final.
अरे उसकी बात नहीं करनी boss. India Australia we don't want to talk about.
We have to get
We
past
only our cricketing World Cup is only till the win against New Zealand.
It'll
After
take
that
a
we
while
don't
to get over that pain for this generation.
No, but this is not surprising. This is a region the BJP has traditionally done well. This is the area of Vasundhara Raje. This is an area where the BJP has had its chief ministers, whether it's Bhairo Singh Shekhawat, whether it's Vasundhara Raje. But what is fascinating as you're doing this region by region is to show how a state is broken up now.
Yeah.
This is the big change in Indian politics. If you look at the big BJP victories of 2003 and 2013 in Rajasthan, they would sweep the state. They would be 130, 140, 150. Now what's happening is it's going region by region. Because I think the voter is looking at the performance of the MLA also this time. And both parties, if there is one mistake they've made, they've not been able to change enough sitting MLAs. So you've got a lot of sitting MLAs who've struggled, Rahul, in this election. Ashok Gehlot was only able to drop 17. He wanted to drop more, but he felt obliged to those who had stuck by him through good times and bad in the last 5
So
years.
3 versus 2, 2 regions to go. I now come to Marwar. 41 seats here. This is the region of Barmer, Jalore, Jodhpur, Nagaur, Pali and Sirohi. Let's take you through what's happening in Marwar. Now this is really, really nerve-wracking because you've got a very close contest, and in Marwar as well, you've got 28 leads for the BJP versus 18 for the Congress. It's a pollster, politician, pundit nightmare. 41 versus 40. When it is so tight, sir, ये तो थोड़ा ऊपर नीचे margin of error में ही आ जाता है.
Let me tell you, this is where the Gehlot is coming from, the Jodhpur. Very strong, traditionally been for Congress.
No, but hardly this time BJP
But
is in the lead.
this time BJP is in lead. Last time 20 to Congress and 16 to BJP. This time 18 to Congress and 20 to BJP. So each seat is switching the side seams.
So there's one region which is left, and our producers are also keeping us on the edge. They're saying 1 minute aur chahiye. We are working on Jaipur. So our producers are saying we're just punching in the numbers. Gupta ji bhi last minute tak kaam. He's like that student who in an exam that he's writing out wants to write till the very last minute. This election got over about several days ago, and if he'd just given us everything in time, it would have been a very smooth show, very slickly produced. But the numbers came in like minutes before Gupta ji came. And therefore now our producers are saying, say 1 minute aur chahiye.
You correctly pointed out, Rahul, the only fundamentals for the accuracy is to double check. When you are submitting your answer
Sir, हमें भी double check करने का मौका मिलना चाहिए ना.
That's what I'm saying. When you are submitting your answer sheet to the examiner, if you can recheck and double check it, I'm sure you can improve upon.
But are you surprised what you're seeing, Rahul, Rashid? The fact is, 6 months ago, everyone said Ashok Gehlot is down and out. Clearly with these numbers, and I'm not looking at other channels at the moment, many of which are predicting a much stronger performance by the BJP, I can tell you, our numbers are clearly showing Ashok Gehlot is certainly not out and not even down.
Rahul, Rajdeep, I think it's the outcome that determines everything. There is a bit of a paradox. If the 4%, female votes are voting for the Congress, it's not showing in, in the caste groups, etc., or for that matter in regions also. So there is something amiss here.
See, for me, like Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan, both Congress government, and the micro data is basically showing very different patterns. In Chhattisgarh, the younger voters are voting for BJP. In Rajasthan, the younger voters are voting for Congress. Female voters in Chhattisgarh for BJP, female voters here in case of Congress. So very interesting sort of like, micro data, and it's fascinating.
Okay, now, I just received message,
Yes.
Jaipur is in.
The
So this is
largest
also
region.
Dhundhar, and I want to show you what's happening on these seats. In the 44 seats of the Jaipur region, the largest region of the state of Rajasthan, this includes Dausa, Ajmer, Jaipur, Karoli, Savai Madhopur and Tonk. And remember, the seat of Tonk itself is the bellwether seat of Rajasthan. Whichever way Tonk goes is the way Rajasthan goes, and that's been happening in every election since 1985. So take that election nugget if you're a data geek like I am. Here is Jaipur, 26 for the Congress, 17 for the BJP, 45 versus 42. This is also the area where Sachin Pilot comes from. So while a lot of this election is about Ashok Gehlot, Sachin Pilot, especially in his own belt around Dausa, also expecting to do well. So we've taken you through the regions. Now, if you were adding up each of the regions as we were taking you through what is happening, and a lot of people I know are, then you already know what the results is. But if you're just sitting and having your coffee or whatever else it is that you want to have at this time of the day, let's take you through the overall breakup of Rajasthan. Coming up on your screen now for the first time, the India Today Access My India vote share projection for the state of Rajasthan. Like was the case in Chhattisgarh, Access My India projects for the India Today group that Rajasthan is going down to the wire. 42 plays 41, a very close contest this. Rajdeep, if it's 42 versus 41, what I will show next, if you like running numbers yourself, 42 versus 41, you can run any which way you want, but that's a very close contest there, Rajdeep.
Look, in vote share, Rajasthan has always been close. If you look at it last time, they were virtually a fraction away from each other, and yet the Congress got about 28 seats more than the BJP did. So if you look at vote share, Rajasthan will not give you the clear picture because as Pradeep said, BJP tends to win big in Rajasthan. They tend to win big, particularly in the urban areas, and the Congress tends to win by narrower margins. So actually, if these vote share numbers remain, Congress has reason to believe they're in the game.
I think the independents are in the game because we are not counting in the independents in this
there is
election.
no state.
1% extra for Congress, as Rajdeep is saying, in close election, it means a lot for the Congress.
Sure, you know, the fact is that...
evolving
No, I think for our viewers, the interesting point of Rajasthan is others. In fact, at 15%, they are even lower than they've been at times. At times, they've been almost close to 20%. Yeah. Rajasthan is one of the few states where in a two-party state, the two parties last time got both less than 40%. Yeah. So you had the independents getting 20%, and independents have dictated governments. Bhairav Singh Shekhawat, after the Ram Rath Yatra of 1993, had to take the support of independents to form a government. Independents, smaller parties, and some of them are remarkable.
2018,
yeah, but that, you know, he had 99 and he just needed a couple. But independents play a big role in Rajasthan. Most of them are rebels. Yeah. There is the buzz in Rajasthan market ki Vasundhara ke log. You see what Vasundhara, if these are your numbers, and we'll come to your numbers, Vasundhara Raje will be looking at them carefully and saying, yaar, mere aadmi kitne aa rahe independent se.
You know,
and those could make a difference.
Am I allowed to tell you a small story? Yunus Khan, one of the closest
That's right.
confidants of Vasundhara Raje.
And the only Muslim who was from the BJP was denied a ticket this time.
Denied a ticket. In 2018, he was sent to Tonk to fight against Sachin Pilot from his stronghold Didwana. And then he lost. Then he's come back right now. He was denied a ticket and he's fighting as an independent from Didwana, in all probability winning that seat.
Okay, so, I just received some snapshots sent to us by a producer who's looking at some of the other channels, and they're also talking about the India Today Access My India numbers. Now, this is pretty unprecedented because typically channels would like to talk, or I hope they would want to talk about their own numbers. Instead, they're talking about the India Today Access My India poll. So why go elsewhere? Just stay here. Keep watching. Coming up now on your screen for the first time, the India Today Access My India projection for Rajasthan. 42 versus 41 in terms of votes. This is how it translates into seats. 96 wins for the Congress versus 90 for the BJP, 13 others. Remember, there are 200 total seats, out of which 199 went to polls. You need 101 to form the government. If you take most of those 13 to the BJP, 90 plus 13, they could end up close to 100. If it's 96, Gehlot has the means to be able to pull some of them. Rajdeep, 90 versus 96, is the BJP's 90 more valuable than the Congress's 96? Is Gehlot secure at 96 if he gets this?
This is very similar to 1993. Since then, you've usually had elections, barring last time when the Congress was in the 90 to 100. The Congress usually, when it's won, has won with narrow margins. When the BJP's won, they've won big. You see, when I look at the vote share, I think the BJP will be worried with these numbers. If I look at seat share, you could say both have a chance because there are enough rebels of the BJP, there'll be enough rebels of the Congress, there'll be the BSP, there'll be the RLP, there'll be the BTP or the BAP party as it's now called. They'll all be there. There could be even the odd RLD candidate.
The left is left as well.
So anything could happen. Pratap Singh Khacheriawas is joining us, Cabinet Minister, Food, Civil Supplies in the Rajasthan government, now a close aide of Ashok Gehlot, was once seen with the pilot camp. Pratap Singh ji, ये बताइए, ये नंबर के साथ अगर आपको 90 मिलते हैं या 95 मिलते हैं, सरकार किसकी बनती है? Do you agree that at 90-95, game is open for both sides? ये तो hung assembly हम दिखा रहे हैं.
आप बिल्कुल ठीक दिखा रहे हैं. ये यदि ये कंडीशन बनती है तो सरकार हम बनाएंगे, क्योंकि ऐसी कंडीशन में जो लोग इंडिपेंडेंट लड़ रहे हैं, कर रहे हैं, वो उन लोगों से भी हमारी बातचीत है. वो लोग भी अच्छे हैं. यदि वो पोजीशन होती है तो सरकार, राजस्थान की जनता जो हमें मैंडेट दे रही है, बीजेपी को ज्यादा खुश होने की जरूरत नहीं. बीजेपी का झूठ, फरेब और धोखा चला नहीं इतना ज्यादा. हालांकि बीजेपी ने इश्यूज पर चुनाव लड़ाई नहीं. ना तो बीजेपी रोजगार पर लड़ती है, ना मुद्दों पर लड़ती है, ना योजनाओं पर लड़ती है, ना काम की बात करती है, फिजूल की बातें करती है. मैंने लोगों से कहा था कि वोटर को ये पूछना चाहिए कि आप मेरे लिए क्या करेंगे, मेरे घर के लिए क्या करेंगे, मेरे गांव के लिए, मेरे शहर के लिए क्या करेंगे, मेरे स्टेट के लिए क्या करेंगे. बीजेपी कह रही है हिंदू खतरे में. जब हजारों साल तक हिंदू खतरे में नहीं था,
हमारे पोल के मुताबिक 80 to 100 बीजेपी, तो बीजेपी का हाफ पे पॉइंट आता है 90. आपका 86 to 106, हाफ पे 0.96। आप समझ लीजिए कि बीजेपी के 7-8 रेबल्स हैं। आप समझ लीजिए कि राजेंद्र गुड्डा जैसे द फेमस रेड डायरी वाला एमएलए जो शिवसेना के टिकट पे लड़ रहा है इस बार, अगर वो जीत जाए तो किसकी सरकार कैसे बनती है? कौन है वो लोग जो आपके साथ आएंगे? आपके कितने रेबल्स हैं? आपके कितने लोग आप समझते हैं जो जीत सकते हैं?
देखिए, अभी जो आंकड़ा है वो आप जो हमें दिखा रहे हैं वो हमारे पक्ष में है और ये आंकड़ा हमारा बढ़ेगा और आप मान लेना कि हम 100 क्रॉस करके जाएंगे। यदि हम 100 क्रॉस करके जाते हैं तो सरकार हमारी है। आज आपका जो एग्जिट पोल आया है
2014 के बाद का राजनीतिक जो इतिहास है वो दिखाता है कि बॉस अगर आपकी 96 आएंगी बीजेपी की 90 तो सरकार तो बीजेपी की बननी है।
एक बार मैं बोल लूं?
बोलिए बोलिए सर।
क्या कह रहे हैं आप?
मैं बोल रहा हूं 2014 के बाद का चुनावी इतिहास ये दिखाता है कि अगर टाइट फाइट है तो उसमें तो बननी बीजेपी की ही सरकार है।
नहीं, वो बीजेपी की सरकार बननी है या कांग्रेस की बननी है ये तो सुदर्शन चक्र वाला ठाकुर जी तय करेंगे, ऊपर वाला तय करेगा। ये तो आप हम, लेकिन आपका एग्जैक्ट पोल है उसका मैं सम्मान करता हूं कि उन्होंने जो एग्जैक्ट पोल दिखाया उसमें कांग्रेस आगे है। मैं तो अभी तो एग्जैक्ट पोल पे बात करेंगे। अब सरकार किसकी बनेगी वो तो 3 तारीख को ऊपर वाला तय करेगा किसके भाग्य में।
मान लीजिए आपकी सरकार बन रही है, किसके नेतृत्व में बनेगी? अशोक गहलोत जी के, सचिन पायलट के?
अब ये नेतृत्व जब सरकार बनेगी और जब हमारा पूरा आंकड़ा आ जाएगा उसके बाद एमएलएस की राय के बाद राहुल गांधी जी, खड़गे साहब तय करेंगे कि किसकी सरकार बननी है। ये तो लीडरशिप तय करती है कौन चीफ मिनिस्टर होगा, कौन मिनिस्टर होगा। ये जब तक रिजल्ट पूरे खुलकर नहीं आ जाते,
कितने एमएलए खींच पाएगा, इंडिपेंडेंट
बेईमानी है। देखिए, इंडिपेंडेंट कुछ एमएलए अच्छी पोजीशन पर है और इंडिपेंडेंट एमएलए भी बड़ी मेहनत से चुनाव लड़ते हैं। तो जो आदमी जीत कर आएगा और यदि हमारा आंकड़ा ज्यादा है सरकार हम बनाने की स्थिति में तो निश्चित रूप से हमारे साथ आएगा। और ऐसी स्थिति में दोनों पार्टियों की जो लीडरशिप है आप ध्यान रखते हैं, हम लोग भी ध्यान रख रहे हैं कौन हमारे साथ आ सकता है, कैसे ला सकते हैं, कैसे सरकार बनानी है। यदि 2, 4, 5, 7 सीटें कम रहती है तो क्या पोजीशन रहेगी, वो सब तैयारी हर पार्टी रखती है। हमने भी रखनी है, उन्होंने भी रखनी है। तो ये आप मानकर चलना कि राजस्थान में बीजेपी की पोल खुल गई है। एग्जैक्ट पोल ने जो पूरा माहौल बीजेपी ने बनाया था वो फेल हो गया है।
If these numbers hold, Ashok Gehlot becomes the chief minister of Rajasthan. True. Let's be very clear. You know, this
at least till 24.
You know, if these elections are at least for the next couple of years, if on the other hand BJP is around 90, 95, Vasundhara Raje will be smiling wider than ever because Vasundhara Raje has been telling the BJP high command, make me your face. Look at the woman vote. Very rarely would you see. If Vasundhara Raje was the face, she might have well claimed, I'll get you the woman vote. Now at 90, 95, with some of her rebels not getting tickets, she will say, this is exactly what Gehlot did last time, Rahul, that she's the front runner. Make me, I'll bring in the others in. Because all your other leaders whom you projected, none of them have been able to deliver a clear majority.
Whose independents and others are these? If it's 90 versus 96, who forms the government?
So 1 to 2 of Congress rebel and 6 to 7 of BJP rebels.
The BJP rebels will come back to the BJP. So that's suddenly
be,
BJP at 96, 97.
Yes. And
So
that
BJP
is the
96,
precisely
97,
reason
Congress
why.
98.
So rebels has done more to BJP than the Congress, and this is the precisely reason why you see BJP is trailing Congress.
You think it's the rebels because there were about 45 rebels on both sides.
Yes.
You think the rebels have damaged the BJP more?
Yeah, BJP rebels seems to be doing more good than the Congress ones. Rebels numbers is not important. Important is who is making
More
the
good,
dent.
sir, more bad.
Who is
Yes. Good or bad depends on which side of the fence you're on.
Your exit poll is out of the 6 or 7 out there on Rajasthan.
It's an outlier.
Yours is an outlier.
Yes.
You are aware of that, obviously.
Yes.
Now, and you must
He's
have
always the outlier.
and you must have seen the other polls right now. Do you still hold your view?
I don't know
He
the
says
other
that
poll. I
Baki
never
Dekta.
see what others are
No,
saying.
they are just coming out as we speak.
No, I am saying even before the poll day, I don't know what's going on in the market.
Okay, but 5 or 6 of them are giving I think it's like 10 seats more to the BJP over the Congress. They are giving BJP an edge. Some have given clear victory to BJP.
Right. So what's your question?
My question is, you are still sticking to this?
Of course, I have to.
Can I add a caveat? When Pradeep and I saw the numbers, this is the one state where I disagree with his numbers, right? Okay. I actually believe it's advantage BJP. I don't know. I mean, it could be much less than it was 6 months ago, but my sense is I don't agree with the youth numbers. I don't agree that Rajasthan is a state where the BJP has committed that much harakiri that they are down to 80, 86. I still think advantage BJP, but Pradeep and I are disagreeing on that.
Let's get
It's
some
a
reactions
disagreement.
now to our poll. Sharat Kumar heads our bureau in Rajasthan. He's joining us. We have with us Rakhi Rathod from the BJP, Anshula Vijit from the Congress. Sharat, what's been the reaction and the buzz that you're picking up in Jaipur after the India Today Access My India exact poll numbers went out? This is contrary to initial public assumption, which thought that the BJP would win handsomely in Rajasthan. Each time Gehlot's fought a re-election, he's got hammered. This time seems to be different.
राहुल, मैं अभी प्रदेश अध्यक्ष सीपी जोशी के पास बैठा हुआ था और एग्जिट पोल के आंकड़ों के बाद उन्हें बीजेपी के राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष जेपी नड्डा ने बुला लिया है वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग से जुड़ने के लिए। तो बीजेपी में एक बेचैनी तो हुई है, मगर देखिए जिस तरह से बीजेपी चुनाव लड़ी है, इतना गंदा चुनाव लड़ता हुआ कभी भी बीजेपी को नहीं देखा कि जहां पर न कोई मुद्दा था, न कोई नेता था, माइनस बीजेपी प्लस मोदी। एक मोदी के अलावा कहीं बीजेपी कहीं नहीं दिखाई दे रही थी। तो इस तरह से अगर आते हैं रिजल्ट तो कोई चौंकाने वाली बात नहीं होगी। और कांग्रेस बेहतर तरीके से पहली बार लड़ती हुई दिखाई दे रही थी। हालांकि देखिए एग्जिट पोल 2013 का हो या 18 का हो, चाहे इंडिया टुडे का हो, आज तक का हो, अशोक गहलोत को हमेशा से एज देता रहा है। पिछली बार भी 130 सीटें दिए थे, हम 99 पर ही अटक गए। जब हारे भी थे, ये 21 सीटें आई थी तो हमने इन्हें 60 सीटें दी थी। तो एग्जिट पोल के तो लाड़ले अशोक गहलोत रहे हैं हमारे यहां भी और बाकी जगह हर जगह, मगर थोड़ा सा रियलिटी फर्क पड़ता है जो हमने 2013 और 18 के आंकड़ों का अध्ययन किया एग्जिट पोल का। तो लेकिन ये जरूर है कि इस बार मैंने जो ग्राउंड पर देखा, खासकर से दलित समुदाय, एससी वर्ग का और मुस्लिम का और माली का, गुजरों ने जो नाराजगी जताई सचिन पायलट के लिए, मालियों ने भरपाई कर दी। और आपको हम लोग जिक्र नहीं करते मालियों का, गुजर और मालियों में कोई जनसंख्या में ज्यादा फर्क नहीं है। और पहली बार मुख्यमंत्री अशोक गहलोत अपने करियर में बार बार कहते नजर आए, मैं माली हूं, मैं माली हूं। तो वही जगा रहे थे कि वो गुजर अगर उधर दे रहे हैं बीजेपी को तो मालियों मेरा ध्यान रखना। तो मुझे लगा कि ये माली, मीणा, दलित, मुसलमान, मीणा में थोड़ा सा बट गया है। ये 3M जो है ना, माली, मुसलमान और ये मीणा, ये बहुत ज्यादा वोट दिए हैं। और एससी को तो मैं आज सुबह भी जब दफ्तर आ रहा था तो कई जगह हमने गाड़ी रोककर कौतूहल बस पूछा मजदूरों से, तो अलग अलग इलाकों से आए थे, वो कह रहे थे कि कांग्रेस को हम वोट देकर आए हैं। जिस तरह से मोदी के समर्थक को पता नहीं है कि क्यों देकर आए हैं, उसी तरह से इन्हें बहुत ज्यादा बेनिफिट तो नहीं मिला, मगर ये कांग्रेस को देकर आए। एक परसेप्शन बनाने में कांग्रेस राजस्थान में कामयाब हुई है कि प्रो पुअर पार्टी है और गरीबों का, दलितों का लौटना एक तरह से मुझे लगता है 2024 के लिए भी प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी के लिए एक बड़ा खतरा है कि अगर ये वोट बैंक वाकई शिफ्ट करता है कांग्रेस की तरफ तो। जी
नहीं, ये बहुत बड़ी बात है, because I think the point that Sharat made is very important. The BJP's inability to seize the narrative in Rajasthan. While I still believe that the BJP could well end up ahead, they were not able to find puncture holes in Gehlot. You see, Gehlot is a very strange kind of politician. उससे आप ज्यादा गुस्सा नहीं कर सकते. You know, he's a relatively benign, low-profile guy. कभी अपनी आवाज ऊपर नहीं करता. When he called Sachin Pilot Gaddar, we were all surprised. This is the furthest this man could go to attack a political rival. He's the old school नेता. सबको पप्पी बिप्पी लेके अपनी राजनीति आगे करवाओ. That is Ashok Gehlot. Therefore, the BJP struggled. Rakhi Rathod of the spokesperson Rajasthan BJP. ये नंबर थोड़े चौंकाने वाले हैं कि नहीं? कि ये जो रिवाज था आपके राजस्थान का, that could be changing. अशोक गहलोत आपके हमारे पोल में आगे नजर आ रहे हैं.
I think, Rajdeep, these numbers would be shocking for you because it happened in 2013 and 2018 also, as Sharat Kumarji was mentioning, that you gave around 110 seats to BJP in 2013, but the exact count was 163. And same thing happened in 2018 as well. You gave 130 to Congress in 2018, but they landed to 99 only. Look, what Mukhyamantri ji is not Mukhyamantri for the first time in Rajasthan. He has governed Rajasthan twice as well. And after his chief ministership, the Congress party has landed to 56 in 2003. And in 2013, it was just 21. So there is a big problem of governance. There's a big problem of delivery.
But he's breaking history. History is meant to be broken, ma'am. History, he seems to be, as per Pradeep's poll, he's breaking history. And even among women, 4% lead among women. Maybe those welfare schemes have worked.
as you stated earlier, I don't agree with this fact that women have voted for Congress party because women's security and safety atrocities. These are the basic issues in Rajasthan. We have seen an NCRB report as well, #1 in rape cases. So I don't agree with that. As far as young voters and women voters are concerned, I think they will definitely vote for BJP because of the paper stamps here, and the Congress party leaders
But
were
Rakhi
involved
ji,
in these paper
the
stamps.
issues of youth, the issues of women, do you reckon came too late in the day in the campaign, in the dying hours of the campaign? You released your manifesto just 4 days before polling, where you talked about women, security, law and order. Most of your campaign, at least 2 weeks, was a highly polarized campaign where you talked about ढांचा गिराना है, where you talked about मुसलमान का वोट नहीं चाहिए. Do you think the polarization didn't really catch on?
Actually, Priya, there were many issues, in fact, and one of the issues was appeasement politics. Dhancha Girana, as you mentioned, it is a very big
I'm
problem.
just quoting
as
your,
far as
I'm
riots
quoting
are
speeches
concerned,
made
sir.
in rallies I attended.
Yeah, actually, there were many issues. In fact, we raised the issue of women's security from last 5 years. We have seen we were on roads. In fact, and we have protested that because Rajasthan was a state like which didn't have that kind of history that women NCRB cases and rape
No, but
cases
can I
are
ask
not
this to
so
Preeti
but-
since she traveled there? Ma'am, Preeti, this women's security. In studios, it's a big issue. NCRB data is put before us. Rajasthan has had a terrible record as per those data when it comes to crimes against women. When I went, I didn't see women as much worried about security as about health and education, where Mr. Gehlot seems to fare rather well. Did you believe
I'll tell
women's
you why.
security is a
I'll
big
tell you
issue?
the difference why.
Was it a big issue? Did the BJP catch on to the wrong issue in
I'll tell you,
Rajasthan?
I think because
If these numbers are right.
the core voter of Rajasthan is largely rural. So security, law and order is not so big in the rural belt where women are concerned, but tangible benefits, ke itna paisa aa raha hai, free mobile phone mil raha hai, Chiranjeevi scheme mil rahi hai, these are, they resonate better.
Annapurna food packets.
Annapurna, I agree.
That's a good point
महंगाई
because-
राहत कैंप, महंगाई राहत कैंप, electricity, water, pension, so many schemes delivered on
In
the ground.
urban areas, definitely. Urban areas, there were sabhas of the BJP where the bulldozer was there and people were resonating in urban areas.
No, can I
you
just
saw
put that? That's the interesting point, Chetan. You write newspaper columns. A lot of talk was about the tragic killing of Kanhaiya Lal in Udaipur last year by Muslim extremists. The Prime Minister goes to Udaipur and says if Gehlot comes back, terrorism will return. As the survey is showing, people seem more concerned about health, education, electricity, old pension scheme, which could it could drain the exchequer, but government employees seem to want it. Do you believe that politicians need to recognize that polarization perhaps has limits at times?
It has limits.
Especially in rural India.
Yeah, and I think people want better basics. I think that better basic schemes which like totally change the game on medical care, totally change the game on education, those people ask what's in it for me right now.
But we keep talking about Hindu-Muslim in studios.
Yeah.
And we keep talking about, how, every election becomes about what do you have to say about terrorism. Are we also disconnected
But
with
no,
what
Rajdeep,
voters
it's
really
not
want?
largely
I think
wrong. It's not
Rajdeep-
largely wrong. Why we say that is look at our own data. You have Baba Balaknath as the top choice for the BJP.
No,
Who's
correct.
Baba Balaknath? He's the poster boy
But
of the
I
next
think
UP
there is
of
some
Rajasthan.
change.
No, but the BJP couldn't be losing this election if polarization is not taking
It hasn't
place.
worked enough.
BJP is losing because of they have not highlighted local issues. They have not had local leadership in all three states.
It's not. It's an issue, but it's not as strong as it used to be 5 years back. And that, if I were the BJP, I would have a meeting and think about that. We have a Lok Sabha election in 5 months, and the polarization, if that is a poll plank, is blunted a little bit. It's not gone to nothing.
Rahul, is it different for a state election and a general election? That in a state election, the local factors will dominate, let's say, an issue like the polarization on a Kanhaiya Lal's murder?
See, I don't think any one issue or factor can change or completely change the election outcome, right? It's a bouquet of things. Sometimes if you have a strong leader, charismatic leader, organization is working, perhaps you can also gain with a polarizing election. But if other things are not working, then polarization alone can't win you election.
Interesting, because Rakhi Rathod, you want a quick response to that? If you lose, and it's a big if, most other polls are giving you a majority, but if you lose, would it be because you didn't focus on local factors in the way that Mr. Gehlot did?
Rajdeep, I don't agree with you because we also conducted this internal survey in Rajasthan, and according to our internal survey, we are winning here comfortably because there was a difference of just 0.5% votes in last elections, and we will definitely overcome that difference this time. And there's no question, there's no ifs and buts because according to our internal survey in Rajasthan, we are very much comfortable. So I don't agree with these kind of
Abhijit of
things,
the
and
Congress
I
is
think
with us.
the
If
results will be
Chhattisgarh goes the
shocking
way that
results
Pradeep
as
Gupta is
it was
predicting,
in
Congress also has the edge in Rajasthan, then Anshul and his team would be dancing with Rajdeep and Pradeep on Sunday. The problem though, Anshul, could possibly be that at 96, you can't be comfortably placed, right? Because BJP's 90, some could argue, is worth as much as the Congress's 96. You have to be as close, if not above 100, to be certain that the government is indeed yours. In a close fight, like we saw in Madhya Pradesh last time, the Congress can never rest easy.
Rahul, I'm far more optimistic than these numbers suggest, although these numbers have brought me to my edge. In Chhattisgarh, other pollsters have been far more generous. I'm pretty optimistic here. I'm pretty certain that this kind of historical ambivalence we've seen, this revolving door government thing, whatever you call it, will be completely shattered this time. And there's a particular reason for that. That's because the BJP had completely no answer. That is why they got in all these polarizing issues. They got in, for God's sake, Pakistan in this entire election. It had no resonance on the ground. I was there in Kota, in Hadoti, where you've been less generous to the Congress party. But I was there. It had absolutely no resonance on the ground. They tried to throw this communal kitchen sink at this election. They were unsuccessful. And that is primarily because of these enormous policies of the government. This Chiranjeevi scheme is absolutely unprecedented. It's an incredible scheme of 25 lakh rupees, 2,000 crores have already been given. There've been 64 lakh claimants. There've been 1,500 procedures in this. There is Annapurna, there is mobile, there is gas cylinder. And this is not just a weapon for
How
the
are you going
elections.
to
It's been going on.
Anshul, Abhijit, you know your numbers. All these, this is of course for the future. With your old pension scheme, with all these welfare schemes, where are you going to balance your budget? You're going to become a bankrupt state soon.
Excellent question. This is an outstanding question. It must be addressed. I'll tell you what it is. Because Rajasthan had a state GDP of 16%. How do you get money? I mean, this is a question that's all. The answer is very simple. The BJP's tactic of filling their tijori is taking money from the poor and then trying to give it back to them as if they're doing a favor. The only way to get money for welfare without taking from the poor is to increase your GDP, which the BJP hasn't never done.
Does that mean going back to the old pension scheme which your own government, your own UPA government had rejected and brought in the new pension scheme? You're going to drain your money. How is that welfare? Giving government employees old pension scheme is welfare for you?
No. Okay. We have decided to follow what people wanted. We leave it to the state governments in all states to decide if they want an OPS. They listen to the ground, whatever people want. If they want this kind of social security in their pension scheme, we'll give it to them. How are we going to raise money for that?
Anshul, Abhijit, may I ask you one question?
Government also has to
hand on your heart, how surprised are you with these numbers?
It is by raising your state GDP. We've done it in Rajasthan. Sorry.
Anshul, Abhijit, hand on your heart, how surprised are you with these numbers yourself? Because every time I spoke to the local Congress unit in Rajasthan, you were totally disillusioned. Most of the top leadership there campaigning would say, "Chunav haath se nikalta ja raha hai."
No. I mean, there were historical challenges to be overcome. I'm pretty certain that the schemes actually work because these schemes had resonance. And no election is easy. I never claimed that any election is easy and can be won. It's in your pocket. But it had to be won. Trust of the people had to be earned. I believe that we've done it. In fact, these numbers will show a little far more than what you suggest out here. Chhattisgarh will be far more than what is suggested in the polls, with all respect to all which is, all the numbers have been given.
What we want to do
is, Rahul,
there is particular reasons for that.
They'll all believe they're winning 2/3. The truth is, the only people who are laughing at the moment, a friend of mine has a small resort near Jaipur. saying मेरा भी रिसोर्ट के बारे में बता देना किसी को वहाँ यहाँ आना आ जाए मैं फ्री मैं 50% डिस्काउंट दे दूंगा even though it's high season.
Oh, I thought he's inviting you after the 3rd of December. No such
देखो the fact is these numbers present the classic
Real
resort
media
situation. There'll be good resorts waiting in Rajasthan for giving you discounted rates.
Padharo Mare Desh is going to happen.
Padharo Mare Desh, yes, exactly. Padharo Mare
So
Resort.
I want to take our viewers through the caste-wise numbers because that will give you a sense of how different communities and castes in Rajasthan are likely to have voted. And this is priceless data because that 42, 41 can vary, but this directionally is very significant data. So let me take you through how the Dalits have voted. 18% Dalit population, 57% of the Dalits polled by Pradeep Gupta's team said they voted for the Congress, 26% voted for the BJP. Amongst the tribals, 15% of Rajasthan's population is the tribal population. 51% of the tribals said they voted for the Congress versus 29% for the BJP. That's a very strong Dalit, tribal and Muslim consolidation like we saw in Chhattisgarh. Dalit, tribal, Muslim consolidation in favor of the Congress. On the other hand, amongst the general categories, 20% of the state general category voters, 62% of them voting for the BJP versus 22% voting for the Congress. Let's take you through some of the other communities. We look at the Jat voters of Rajasthan, 36% voting for the Congress, 42% voting for the BJP. So BJP 6% up amongst the Jat voters. Amongst the Gujar voters of Rajasthan, 4% of the state, Gujars, 43% for the BJP, 39% for the Congress, so 4% lead. Amongst the OBCs, 55% voting for the BJP, 29% voting for the Congress. Amongst the others, 53% for the BJP versus 30% for the others. Now, in 2 states we've seen Dalit, tribal and Muslim consolidation.
Yes.
Because the BJP thought they'd pull the tribal. I was speaking to some senior BJP leaders. They thought they'd get much more of the tribal vote than they've actually got.
That's true, Rahul, because Dalit anyway, they've been traditionally voting more in favor of Congress, but tribals is someone, they never ever aligned with any political party, any part of the India. That is the true story. And whoever take care of them, they always go with that particular party. This is the true story, and it is very difficult to reach out to them, even for the government, for the governance, to reach out to them and do the tricks. It's very difficult.
I slightly disagree. Between 2014 and 19, you'll see election after election, BJP did very well in tribal areas.
Of course, I am saying so.
The rise of
That's
the BJP,
what I'm saying.
It's post-2019, and we saw it with Jharkhand. For example, state election in Jharkhand, it was the Congress, JMM that did very well. Look at Karnataka. Karnataka, SC, ST, the Congress swept those seats. I think a shift is taking place in general to some extent among those who are poorer and more marginalized.
I said Dalit is traditionally voting, not the tribal. Tribal never aligned. They see the government of the day.
My point is between 2014 and 19, both tribals and Dalits started moving towards the BJP.
That's true.
From 2019 and especially in the last couple of years where I think loss of jobs, unorganized labor has meant that those at the bottom of the pyramid have suffered.
But that's in the case of assembly elections, not necessarily.
We don't know. We don't know about general elections. We'll know in 24. At the moment, assembly elections, we are seeing certainly a shift.
But Rahul, what about the elevation of Draupadi Murmu as President of India, which was seen as a big kind of magnet?
That's what we are making a mistake. We are thinking all state tribals vote in one direction. If you look at Chhattisgarh, it's advantage BJP. If you look at Rajasthan, it's advantage
polling,
Congress.
Prime Minister goes and that Birsa Munda anniversary, and he makes a strong pitch for our tribal vote. So it's not they are targeting the tribal votes of Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, and Chhattisgarh.
Okay.
Could we have an income breakup? Because I think the income breakup will tell you the poorer. We certainly saw it in Karnataka. The poorer you were in Karnataka, the more likely you were to vote for the Congress.
Yes.
I'm not sure that's true of every state. But certainly in the recent elections, there's been a trend that the more marginalized communities seem to be looking to the back to the Congress, to its what was seen as its traditional coalition. These were all traditional Congress old voters.
So are you saying Mr. Modi's focus is not working?
No, my point is making a Draupadi Murmu is not going to win you the Adivasi vote. You're going to have to see what work have you done. Why is the Congress losing in some parts of the tribal areas? You made various promises for Tendu lead picking, for example.
Rajdeep, poor income-wise breakup.
No, so let's show that to our viewers, the income-wise breakup. And again here, the trend's very different. So the data from Rajasthan suggests the poorer voters have voted
Yes, you
much more for the Congress. The richer voters have voted much more for the BJP. There are more poor than there are rich, and that tells its own story. So here it is on your screen now. For those whose incomes were less than 10,000 rupees, which is 41% of the total sample, 40% voted BJP, 44% voted Congress. There's a 4% gap there. For those whose income was between 10 and 20,000 rupees, 41% voted Congress, 42% voted BJP, 43% of the total sample is in this category, 10 to 20,000 rupees income. For those whose income was between 20 and 30,000, 43% voted BJP, 39% voted Congress. This is 11% of the sample. And those who were 30% plus, 46% voted BJP, 38% voted Congress. Those above 30,000 are 5% of the sample. Remember, because this is where the bulk of the population lies, and there the Congress is doing better, which is why the Congress has the slight edge. But Rajasthan really...
If you're in India, you don't want to be the party where the rich people vote for you. You'd rather be on the
Especially in a state like Rajasthan.
And this is, this is showing a trend, Rahul. We captured it to some extent in Himachal. We've captured it now in Karnataka, and you're seeing it now in Rajasthan. It may not necessarily translate to a general election, but if there was one worry that the BJP should have, it is simply that the poorer parts of the country are hurting. The poorer parts of the country are hurting.
In an assembly context.
In an assembly context. Now, we don't know. We don't know whether
something is, Mr. Rajdeep sir, says something is not adding up. If Prime Minister is consistently, feeding 81 crore people, okay, for last so many years and another extension for 5 years, why is it not reflecting? Then where does this whole welfareism goes? And about this
we don't know where,
Can I make 2 points?
Yes. Yeah, please go ahead.
First, I think BJP, in comparison to the past, is making gains among the poorer segments. Like even in Rajasthan, there is a 3% swing in favor of the BJP. But I think the gap last time was big enough that they are not able to fill.
But may I just add...
Second, one more point, which is, I think, perhaps it would be better, like when we, Pradeep ji at some point can do this thing for us, where break this like poorer segment, because a bulk of poorer segment, 41% is very, very large. Right, and if we can break that, then perhaps we'll get a better sense of what might be happening.
No, we can do that.
And the 2 states is going in different...
I'll give you an example. In Rajasthan, why did the Mehengai Rahat camps have to come up? 6-9 months ago, inflation was hurting people. People were paying a large amount for gas cylinders. You had to bring your gas cylinders down to 500 rupees. You had to ensure that people could get food grain at much cheaper prices. Now you're saying the Prime Minister is doing it with it. Sure he is. And he may well get rewarded for it in the general election. But in a state election where my Chief Minister is providing me a Mehengai Rahat camp or giving me a sense, you see, you're giving a sense of care and compassion. Compassion is an important word. Ashok Gehlot, for all his other problems that he has with corruption, failure to act against his MLAs on corruption, he's not seen as a non-compassionate leader.
Yeah.
Ask people how he performed during COVID. They said, "Nahi, sir, sarkar ne hamare liye kuch kiya."
Rajdeep,
That is the difference.
May I just add one small thing? I think, you can't conflate both 24 with what is going on right now, because when you speak to the people on ground, kid you not, the Prime Minister is widely popular still. So when you talk about Modi per se, they're very clear. They've made a distinction in their mind that this is a state election, and what's going to happen in 2024 is an entirely different game. And they tell you, the same voter who might be voting Congress in Rajasthan in this election tells me in the same breath that 24 mein Modi hai.
Yes, but that raises a
But
question.
are they going to win 25 out of 25?
No.
Because that's what they need to. Otherwise, you guys will sow -5. If they lose 5 seats.
But why?
We don't know. We don't know.
Yeah.
He could.
So,
He could well. Mr. Modi, this is another factor of Indian politics. State elections, people say, "Nahi, hum apne MLA, apne Chief Minister par vote de rahe." Moment you say general election, "Nahi, Modi ji hai." So that answers what Rashid says. I'm willing to reward a Prime Minister who I believe has been helping me out in tough times with providing me free ration. I'm also willing to reward a Chief Minister who's providing me a Mehengai Rahat camp, is ensuring that I get my gas cylinder at 500 rupees.
Rajdeep, if it is so obvious, then why the BJP, in spite of having established state leadership like Vasundhara Raje Scindia, Raman Singh, Shivraj Singh Chauhan, did not project them as Chief Minister?
That's another debate which we will have. It's an interesting debate to have, which will also tell you how the centralized high command structure works. various surveys that they did showed element of anti-incumbency against these old figures. But all of this leaves us to our most interesting state coming up soon.
No, because we have Telangana left, there's Mizoram and there's Madhya Pradesh. And remember, there is some electoral history here because a lot of the states like Kerala, like Uttarakhand, like Punjab had typically the trend of voting out incumbent governments. That changed in Kerala, that changed in Uttarakhand, that changed in Punjab as well.
At some point.
So will that change in Rajasthan? If Ashok Gehlot is somehow able to keep the Congress's nose in front, it would be historic. He's typically ended up leaving the Congress in tatters at the end of his chief ministership. If
And
this
will it be
time is
worrisome?
different.
Will it be worrisome for 10 Janpat? Because after all, I mean,
yeah.
they didn't quite endorse Ashok Gehlot if Congress wins
No,
in
he's
Rajasthan.
dancing on the heads already and he'll be dancing on the heads.
कुछ worrisome नहीं होता है जब आप स्टेट जीतते हैं वो स्टेट से आप खुश होते हैं. The Congress party today is in a state where they need as many states as they can get in the kitty. कौन सा स्टेट उनका
No, but
ATM
here's
होगा
somebody who
ये important है उनके लिए. Let's be very honest.
No, but here's somebody who flexed his muscles against the leadership, got away with it. If despite that he's able to win.
Oh, it's a great.
When they return as chief minister.
If Ashok Gehlot crosses 100, if the Congress, not Ashok Gehlot, Congress crosses 100, Ashok Gehlot becomes even more sort of dominant within the relationship between 10 Janpat and him. And let me tell you one thing, he is very happy in Jaipur. Usko Delhi आना ही नहीं है. You see, there are some state leaders who are, this is their comfort zone. वो कहाँ पड़ेगा दिल्ली में?
दिल्ली वालों को प्रॉब्लम है उससे.
नहीं दिल्ली वालों को है, but can the Delhi walas win the election? They have to win an election in April, May. Can they win it? Ashok Gehlot, if he wins this election as per our survey, has shown that he can break Rajasthan's 30-year cycle. It's huge, if it is true.
You know, we
want
to limit our punditry just to the extent that this is a post-poll study. And the margin really is 42 plays 41.
That's right, it's very
this,
close.
This punditry could then be twisted on different ends of the spectrum depending on what ultimately happens. So we'll keep some of the definitive punditry till Sunday. From Rajasthan, let's now move to the neighboring state of Madhya Pradesh. Unless you want to go to Mizoram or...
No, I think Madhya Pradesh is the state I've been waiting for a long time because this is it kept us awake till midnight 5 years ago. And I'm just wondering whether Madhya Pradesh will be that cliffhanger
or
will one
that's
side
when the election intelligence dashboard really became famous. Because we had the margin calculator, I remember. And
yeah, that's right.
Even people who I don't want to name because we're a national TV, but who are very senior across the parties were saying, calculator pe dikhao kya ho raha hai? Because they also wanted to see in real time at that moment how many seats were being won and lost by the wafer thin majorities, like really, really thin numbers. Okay, so Rajasthan, before we start, I want to take you through the methodology. We've polled in all the 230 assembly constituencies of Madhya Pradesh. The total sample size is a very robust 47,506. So I want to come to the first question that we are taking, and this is to do with why did you vote the way you did? And this is a very important question because it gives you a sense of why people are choosing to go in a particular direction. So here it is on your screen right now, why people voted the way they voted. So 15% saying they voted because they're loyal voters of some party, 24% saying they voted because of government schemes, and because of Prime Minister Modi is 4% of the overall number. So that's a big number there. Who do people want as the next Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh? Do they want Gehlot? Do they want Shivraj Singh Chauhan, Jyotiraditya Scindia, Kamal Nath? Who do they want? So here it is. At this moment, the numbers for the preferred Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh. 36% of the respondents in the India Today Access My India data say they want Shivraj Singh Chauhan as the next Chief Minister. Remember, he's been Chief Minister for almost 18 years. 36% still want him as Chief Minister. Kamal Nath, who's fighting harder than he has for the large part of his political career, 30% of the respondents saying they want Kamal Nath as the Chief Minister, 10% saying anybody else from the Congress. Jyotiraditya Scindia came in at 3, any candidate from the BJP at 8, Digvijay Singh at 1. But it's unfair to the others because they weren't really projected. This was a battle, Kamal Nath versus Jyotiraditya Scindia, that's 36 versus 30. So that's the first set of data on your screen right now. Shivraj Singh Chauhan, Rajdeep, still the preferred choice for the position of next Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh?
Quite remarkable, because he's been in politics for 20 years. This could be his, fifth term as Chief Minister, elected 4 times, once of course in the middle of a term. But it'll be remarkable if he's able to do this. I don't think any other, I'm trying to think who's the other, from North India, whether anyone from the Hindi heartland has won so many elections in a row. Nitish Kumar is someone who might come close to that. These are 2 leaders who've been there for 2 decades. And there's a similarity between him and Shivraj Singh and Ashok Gehlot. Nobody gets angry with them. You may be tired with them, but you don't get angry with Shivraj ji. I call them both the Amol Palekars of Indian politics. देखो अमिताभ बच्चन का भी इरा होता है, अमोल पालेकर का भी जमाना होता है.
One more similarity.
Very, very genial people.
Yeah.
He'll be nice to you. आपको भी पेड़ा देगा, अपने rival को भी देगा. In fact, that's been the accusation that he's never really taken on his opponents. Similarly with Mr. Gehlot, and therefore, and dare I say it, sometimes women prefer the softer, gentler politician. I'm saying something that might get me into trouble one day, but women prefer softer, Mr. Modi may be different, the machismo of Mr. Modi. But the softer, gentler...
You're saying he's not soft and gentle?
No. These two politicians, Shivraj Singh ji and Ashok Gehlot, I found on my travels...
what I really like is the mansplaining while I'm sitting here on what women really want.
हमने तो कुछ बोला ही नहीं.
What women, he's telling me what women really want.
Can I just add? I traveled through Madhya Pradesh, and whenever you spoke to women...
No, I'm kidding. Yeah.
They never had a negative word to say about Mr. Shivraj Singh Chauhan. When you travel through Rajasthan, you don't hear women having a negative word to say about Ashok Gehlot. I keep maintaining, Mahila
So
voter
let Preeti tell us what women really want.
Please do. You agree
really want?
No, what I loved was that I'm sitting right next to Rajdeep, and Rajdeep is turning around and saying, women want a softer gentleman. That's...
No, someone who they feel is compassionate in difficult times. I maintain last 5 years have been very tough for most Indians, especially at the bottom of the
Now she interrupted you, but she's not telling us what women
But you're
want.
not saying about
women
another
want a Madhya
similarity
Pradesh?
between
Okay, I
Shivraj
think
Singh Chauhan
women-
and Ashok Gehlot.
No, I've been asked of what women want in Madhya Pradesh. I'll be very clear. Women want the Ladli Behna scheme. I went into Madhya Pradesh thinking with what most pollsters predicted was a BJP edge and what I saw was a Congress edge. And what I saw was this affinity of women where they didn't know Shivraj, they did not know Modi, but what they knew was pool, and they knew 1250 rupiah, which was coming on the 10th of every month in their bank accounts.
Okay.
So that's what I thought.
Let's now go region by region across Madhya Pradesh, and I want to take you through what the seat share and vote share numbers are looking like. So we will start with Bhopal. In the 20 seats of Bhopal, which includes the city of Bhopal, Raisen, Sehor and Vidisha, which is where Sushma Swaraj used to come from, 12 leads for the BJP, 8 for the Congress, 51% vote share for the BJP versus 42. This is where the Congress and Kamal Nath think people are bored, they want change, that people are fed up with Shivraj Singh Chauhan. Well, at least in the first region for which we have put out numbers, that doesn't seem to be the case.
Rahul, this is a traditional BJP-dominated area. So, there are seats that the BJP hasn't lost here in 4 consecutive elections. So, Madhya Bharat, Bhopal is BJP country.
But this time they are losing 2 seats compared.
And in fact, they're losing 2 seats compared to last time, but this is a dominant region. So, actually, these numbers would say some worry for the BJP if you look at these numbers.
Okay, let's now come to the second region. So, the first region, quite clearly, for the BJP, 12 versus 8. I want to come to Nimar now. There are 18 seats in Nimar. The BJP had won 6 of them last time. The Congress had won 10. So let's take you through what's happening in Nimar. 12 for the BJP, 6 for the Congress. The BJP is up 6. The Congress is down 4. A 3% gap in vote share in Nimar. Remember, in the last assembly elections, different regions in Madhya Pradesh had voted differently. And therefore, it seemed like there were 6 separate elections happening. In the first 2 regions, we've seen the BJP.
Rahul, here this is bad news for the Congress because this is a large tribal belt. Congress did very well there, but remember this also includes Khargone, where there was communal disturbance, where there was a bulldozer Raj used. But tribal belt, Congress losing in this region is bad news for the Congress. They would expect to pick up seats in Nimar.
Okay.
And it's also the area of Kishore Kumar. So it's a particularly favorite area.
Rajdeep,
Khandwa
I wanted to
aata hai
make a
wahan.
point.
Yeah, obviously,
You are troubled by...
that means there is no farmers' unrest, and Rajdeep said, there were a lot of communal polarization that had taken place in this region, and BJP seems to be benefiting from it.
Rahul, your initial thoughts on the numbers?
I agree with Rajdeep. I think if in this region BJP is making gains, then Congress should be little worried.
Okay, so Congress should start to get a little worried about the first set of numbers that we put out. Let's now go across to Bundelkhand. In the 26 seats of Bundelkhand, remember Bundelkhand, the BJP had done very well last time. So they're hoping to do well in Bundelkhand again. Let's take you through what's happening in Bundelkhand. In Bundelkhand, on these 26 seats, the BJP, which had 14 the last time, is up now at 18. The Congress, which was at 10, is down to 8. And there's a 5% gap in vote share between the BJP and the Congress, 45 versus 40. The BJP off to a rocking start in Madhya Pradesh. Their first 3 regions doing smashingly well for them.
And Rahul, that 8% is critical. Remember, Samajwadi Party has a presence here. They wanted an alliance. Kamal Nath said, no, I'm not going in for an alliance. Many of these smaller parties in Bundelkhand were ready to tie up with the Congress. There is a UP effect, border to UP. So I'm not surprised with the numbers.
6 of the seats in Bundelkhand last time around, the Samajwadi Party had polled more than the winning margin. So one can well imagine if they had tied up with the Samajwadi Party, what could it have meant for the Congress?
Bad news for the Congress again.
I now want to come to the most significant region politically, which is the Gwalior-Chambal belt, which is where Jyotiraditya Scindia comes from. This is where there's a massive rebellion in the Congress ranks, and Jyotiraditya Scindia and 22 MLAs switched over and joined the BJP. In this area, we want to take you through whether the BJP is doing well or not. Remember, the conventional political punditry said the Congress was doing very well in Chambal. The India Today, Access My India numbers show that doesn't seem to be the case. Jyotiraditya Scindia would be delighted when he sees the BJP at 19, which is up 12 from the last time. The Congress at 14, it is 12 down from the last time. A 3% gap between the BJP and the Congress. Rashid Kidwai, you come from Bhopal. It seems to be turning on the track of Bhopal. This ball seems to be going away from the Congress quite badly. Even in Gwalior-Chambal, where the Congress was convinced that infighting, factionalism, rebels, they'll kill the BJP sitting at 19 seats.
Precisely. I think this is a very significant and a turning point. If this happens, then there is no hope for the Congress in Madhya Pradesh.
I'll tell you here, Rahul, what happened last time? You had Jyotiraditya Scindia part of the Congress. So 26 out of 34, remember, included a lot of Scindia supporters. It was a united Congress in Gwalior-Chambal. Now what happens? Jyotiraditya Scindia leaves. He leaves with his supporters. Kamal Nath, Digvijay Singh claim Jyotiraditya is a Gaddar. But the truth of the matter is BJP very quickly realizes they're in trouble here. They bring in Narendra Tomar. They bring in all the heavyweights here. They say, look, it can't just be Jyotiraditya Scindia. Let's get MPs in, let's get union ministers in, let's create a mahal in this area. If these numbers are right, I think it's almost game, set and match for the BJP, because these are the parts that the Congress needs to win.
But the question
and you travel through these parts.
But the question of allegiance was already answered, Rajdeep, after the defection in the by-elections. It was very clear that the BJP came back.
Yeah, so but a by-election, you would have thought, you're right, but a by-election is often different to an assembly election. In a by-election, usually the party in power tends to win. When you are fighting an assembly election, this is the real test. Is Jyotiraditya Scindia and his supporters Gaddars, or are there people who have a connect with,
Rajdeep,
with the masses?
Jyotiraditya Scindia at some very late sabha that he was addressing. It must have been about close to 1 a.m. I remember. He couldn't speak. But a body language of a leader tells you so much. He came back from that stage and he spoke to us despite of not being able to construct a sentence because his voice was so bad. You could see on his face that he knew that they were doing well in that area.
He has never worked harder than this. This is the one difference. BJP ने बहुत काम करवाया है ज्योतिरादित्य सिंधिया से last 6. If these numbers are right, not just Scindia, Narendra Singh Tomar in his bastion.
Who might be in trouble? I feel who might be in trouble.
If these numbers are there, my sense is the BJP has been able to lift a lot of support.
But the Congress doing well comes from the Bhind Morena area, where from Morena is Mr. Tomar from the seat of Dimani.
Remember, for a long
But the
time...
OBCs
But
seem to
there
be
the
drifting.
BSP
If these
is
numbers are
expected
right,
to do well.
OBCs are moving away from the Congress in Madhya Pradesh. Without OBC support, you cannot win Madhya Pradesh. And in Gwalior, Chambal, if the OBCs start drifting away from you, you're in trouble.
For a long time in the campaign, the BJP
Dalits.
knew that they were behind. And suddenly, one fine day, I started getting very excited calls from very senior leaders in the BJP who said, we've turned it around. Bas ho gaya, Madhya Pradesh is through. They were fully confident because they realized that they were able to beat anti-incumbency and pull this election around. This happened literally weeks before polling. It didn't happen, say, months before polling. Just days before polling, they were able to get the momentum going for themselves in Madhya Pradesh.
And
this
also,
would be an epic botch-up by the Congress if after so many terms of Shivraj Singh Chauhan being in power, 18 years, they're still able to lose and the BJP is able to win.
And who
Now
was the
they were
man they sent into, who was the general they sent into Madhya Pradesh? The Home Minister. This entire you see, Amit Shah has had some wins, some losses. He's not some magician, Chanakya, who wins every election. He lost Bengal to Mamta. But here he went in. I know some of the people that he used, they were told to do micromanagement right down to the level. And you're right. I think the Congress after Karnataka thought that they were in the 40th over and they were cruising. That the last 10 over to jeetna hi hai, Karnataka jeet gaya hai, usi momentum mein chal do. And Kamal Nath made a few announcements, especially on for women, 1,500 rupees. The BJP responded. And the BJP responded quickly enough. Ladli Behna started being, pushed in from March itself.
The X factor of this election.
But the truth of the matter is, I think if these numbers are right, it is Congress in the 40th over taking an election for granted and suddenly realizing Amit Shah aa gaya as your death bowler for the BJP.
No, and Congress strategists also who worked with Rahul Gandhi were getting increasingly frustrated with Kamal Nath saying he's not listening, he's doing his own thing, he's making mistakes, he thinks he knows it all, he's not listening to what the data is saying, he's not listening to what the surveys are saying. So there's growing frustration even within the Congress that they didn't seem to think that they were doing the right things, making the right
Actually,
moves.
Mr. Nath's whole strategy was ये election जनता और भाजपा के बीच में है. So the people will throw them out, and it seems it's not happening.
Okay.
And sadly, so you didn't see it on ground. Kamal Nath might be the king of Chhindwara, and he is when you go to his own constituency. But outside
So,
that,
Preeti, but
I'm
there was a lot
afraid
of fatigue
the pull-
factor was there. Fatigue was a real thing. अब हम मतलब उदासीन हो गए. मतलब बहुत time
But
से.
Mr. Kidwai, Kamal Nath doesn't seem to sadly have that kind of charisma of even a Shivraj of the long time that he's been there. He just doesn't
not a mass
inspire.
leader.
Yeah, he just doesn't
BJP
inspire that kind of confidence, I
It's the
feel.
only state where BJP had a face. Rajasthan they didn't, Chhattisgarh they didn't.
No, even in
a face.
Madhya
face,
Pradesh,
they
But
did
that's the
not
only
talk
face
about
that Congress had a
I mean,
face.
but
they
face
didn't
Chetan,
fully
face-
project that face.
Prime
I know, but
Minister
he's
did not
been there
mention even
forever.
once.
He's even
Okay.
whether they projected him or not, he
So
is Mama
I
Ji,
now want to
he's-
come.
This Mamaji word is very interesting. Mamaji kaun hai? Arey Mamaji hai. I come back to it. You feel a sense of with Shivraj Singh Chauhan, who's faced several, he's Teflon-like. इतने charges कभी हुए हैं उनके परिवार पर हुए हैं, बीवी पर हुए. He's never been affected. Vyapam happened. Shivraj has been able to rise above it all because people said, "Hey, Mama ji hai."
Let's come
So
to-
he's got a comfort factor.
Let's come to Mahakoshal. 47 seats in Mahakoshal. This is where the Congress would hope to do very well. This is also where Chhindwara is, which is the bastion of Kamal Nath. And the Congress
It's also
had done
Pradeep Gupta's
well.
home state.
Congress
home
had
part,
done very
home
well
region.
here last time.
Oh, God.
The
Oh,
BJP is up 14 seats from the last time in Mahakoshal, projected to bag 32 out of the 47 seats in Kamal Nath's bastion. The Congress down from 28 to 15, 13 down from the last time, a 5% gap in vote share between the BJP and the Congress, 47 plays 42, game set and match already. You have Malwa still to go. It doesn't matter what Malwa says because in the first 6 regions itself, the BJP has literally hit the ball in Madhya Pradesh out of the park.
Now, this is a
Shivraj
state-
Singh Chauhan emerging
The tribal
as...
vote, maximum
I
tribal
was
vote
just
in
going to
Mahakoshal.
say, this is the state, or this is the region of Madhya Pradesh, large tribal vote, and you're seeing it in Nimad, you've now seen it in Mahakoshal. If these trends continue, it shows that the tribals here, unlike in Rajasthan or to some extent in Chhattisgarh, here are moving back to the BJP. And it'll be interesting
Also
to see
in this
whether
area-
it was Ladli Behna that worked for them or
But
something
Rajdeep,
else.
also what's blunted the force here of the Congress is to field the likes of Mr. Patel from Narsinghpur, Mr. Khulaste from Nivas. Now, these are sitting cabinet ministers who where the OBC is concerned, the Lodi OBC where Mr. Patel comes from, then be it the tribals where Mr. Kulaste comes from. So they've taken that vote and influenced 2 seats around them.
Yeah, the tribal OBC vote seems to be going to the BJP.
Boss, if you're winning like this, all the vote is going.
No, but that's the core. You see, in Madhya Pradesh, you've got a 50% OBC vote, 21% tribal vote. If I get a majority of that, I'm home. I don't need anything else.
I want to come now to the Malwa region. This is the biggest region of Madhya Pradesh. 55 seats up for grabs here. This includes the area of Indore, Jhabua, Mandsaur, Neemach, Rajgarh, Ratlam and Ujjain. In these 55 seats, coming up on your screen, the biggest region of Madhya Pradesh, 41 for the BJP, 14 for the Congress. The Congress down from 28 the last time, the BJP up 15 seats from the last time. A whopping. People thought Madhya Pradesh would be a tight battle. The India Today Axis My India poll projects a 10% gap between the BJP and the Congress in the region of Malwa.
Rahul, just as a piece of trivia, this is the original Jansangh area. You see, Malwa used to be, Jansangh shuru kahan se hui? In the 1950s, this is where they won their first seat. This has been a relatively, you could say saffronized citadel of the BJP if there was ever one. I still recall, and that's what I got it back. That's why I'm very careful of Madhya Pradesh. 93 election, I travelled in Times of India across the state, and I thought there was a Ram wave. That election went to the Congress because the Congress was very united. But in every other election that I've travelled through Malwa, you can sense that this is BJP country. And therefore, this was where the BJP's made a terrific comeback compared to what they were in 2018. Something has changed.
This is election management magic. This is the school of Amit Shah.
And if these numbers are right, you've got to give Mr. Shah full credit because, as I said, 40th over, Congress appeared ahead.
No,
Shivraj Singh Chauhan, by putting out the Ladli Behna scheme when it mattered.
Go back to that Australia versus Afghanistan match. It seemed Afghanistan was going to win. Somehow Australia pulled it back and won in the end. They seem to have done that in Madhya Pradesh.
So who's Glenn Maxwell, Shivraj Singh Chauhan or Amit Shah?
So both, you have to give credit to the manager and to Shivraj Singh Chauhan as well. His Ladli Behna scheme obviously was a game changer. And I'll show you when I look at the gender-wise breakup, you'll see what impact
But
it had.
I want to also, small point. We keep saying Ladli Behna. It's not as if Shivraj discovered the woman voter in March 2023. You see a series of his schemes. His schemes for the last 20 years have been directed at women.
And this is when the party wasn't projecting him too much.
You see,
they tried to push him down and he's bounced back.
No, that's why, you see, in the 40th over, what happened? 40th over, Congress looked like it was winning. After Karnataka, Kamal Nath and all were already, in the mood to celebrate. The BJP thought, yaar, Shivraj Singh Chauhan, like Bomai, hum yahan phas jayenge, anti-incumbency against the Chief Minister of fatigue.
BJP was saying that people are bored with Shivraj.
Ye bored word, you see, there is no word like bored in politics. Ye bored word kya? Thakavat pe aap vote nahi dete, aap gusse pe dete hain. There was no anger against him. There was thakavat. My belief is BJP, some leaders in the center, sorry to say this, thought this was an opinion to get time to get rid of the last leader of the Advani-Vajpayee era. So Shivraj Singh Chauhan's name was, he was even in the first list. They were not even willing to listen to some of, what his views. By the time the second list came, and this is where you give credit to the BJP, they realized कि शिवराज का चलता है, ऐसा इतना बुरा नहीं है. They were able to course correct. Second list, Shivraj got his way. And suddenly Shivraj was on posters. When you see Mr. Modi's speeches in September, Rahul, वो शिवराज का नाम नहीं ले रहा था. By October, he had Shivraj next to him. तो ये भी है 40, ये सब गुरुजी जो है ना हमारे, ये 40 ओवर के बाद कोर्स करेक्ट करते हैं.
But that just shows you're smart tactically.
Give them credit.
Rahul,
I think we should sort of like hold on saying certain things because these three states have gone against the expectations which we had 2 months back, right? Chhattisgarh became really close. Rajasthan, everyone was thinking BJP has an edge, and here everyone was thinking Congress has an edge.
And Rahul bhai, we are also outliers compared to other channels.
Yeah.
Other channels seem to be giving a much tougher race, if I'm not mistaken, in Madhya Pradesh.
And if BJP is managing to roam things in Madhya Pradesh, they are surely failing in Rajasthan. Right?
But am I right that the other channels are all saying it's a tight race?
They're all. But then, your methodology, I mean, India Today is...
नहीं उसका home state है. As he said, वो घर नहीं जा पाएगा
but nobody is
जबलपुर.
watching. I just looked at the concurrent data.
On Twitter only India Today exit polls is trending.
Twitter,
Or
it's
X.
like 20x.
What is your concurrent data
No,
now?
it's 20x. So we are at, forget what the exact, it's 20x of the nearest rival. And at this time, and this is an important number because this is not a projection, it's an actual number, Rajdeep. If you add up the number of people watching all the other competitor channels and just keep India Today on the side, all the competition doesn't add up to the number of people watching India Today. So that's domination. You know, that's like...
So we are a bit like the BJP in Madhya Pradesh today.
Aisa nahi bolo. It's just, it's also
Today.
humbling. No, because if you get it wrong, then they'll all come.
Live in the moment.
They'll all be flinging various things on the screen. So we just want to keep it real because as Rahul Verma just pointed out, this is quite contrary to what the narrative was, and therefore it's quite unexpected. You know, it's very different from what you would have expected.
No, Preeti, I'm going to say this. Preeti Chaudhary and I came back from Madhya Pradesh and said BJP is ahead. No, 1 minute. In a tight race. In a tight race.
Can I show the numbers?
I'm willing to concede. I said in a tight race, BJP is ahead. So did she. So did she. But let me tell you this.
Panditri is 2020. Once it goes right, everybody wants to claim credit. If it goes wrong,
Rahul, my problem is what? Local journalists and government officials.
Gave Congress.
Congress jeet raha hai.
Achha, okay.
Everyone gave
So, you know, if you...
This is wishful thinking.
Okay, if you were fabulously enthusiastic and you've already done the maths by adding up the regions, you know what I'm going to say. But if you are slightly less enthusiastic and want me to do the numbers for you, here it is. Remember, in the last election, the Congress had 114 on counting day. The BJP had 109. They both had roughly 41% of the vote share. So that's the baseline number. Congress slightly ahead, the BJP slightly behind. So here is the vote share numbers for the state of Madhya Pradesh. This was predicted to be a furiously hot contest and a very tight fight. But if the battle is largely between the Congress and the BJP, and that there is a 6% gap between the BJP and the Congress, that is a sweep. That's not tight, that's not close, that's not a furious contest. That is game, set and match, Mamaji. 47% votes for the BJP, 41 for the Congress. No wonder even the Gen AI face of Kamal Nath is looking glum. 41 for the Congress, 46 for the BJP, 6% for the BSP. This is a phenomenal turnaround in the fortunes of the BJP in the Hindi heartland state of Madhya Pradesh. Let's now translate this into numbers for you. The Congress in a 230-seat assembly expected to bag between 68 and 90. The BJP expected to be safely past the majority number, 140 to 162. And with this, the emergence of Shivraj Singh Chauhan in a very significant way. In Delhi, there were leaders who were trying to clip his wings, trip him over. If this is the way it looks, Mamaji and his team will be dancing, they'll be singing, they will be delighted. This is not a tight win, Rajdeep. This is a landslide.
6% is a huge percentage.
This is back to what
Safely
it was.
he would cross, I mean, BJP would cross 150 mark. And this would also mean, you know, end of Congress, not in this election, but time to come.
Yeah.
Remember, because Mr. Kamal Nath and Digvijay Singh, they both are past 70, and there is no, you know, young leadership that's there. So probably it will take Congress a couple of elections to, you know, come up again.
You know, it may be, if these numbers hold, he's right, there'll be a generational change. There are leaders. It's not as if they're not there. The likes of Jitu Patwari and others have been waiting for their opportunity. But look what's happened. One, Shivraj has done virtually what if these numbers hold, what he's done 10 years ago in 2013, near two-thirds majority. But Rahul, interesting, you've given us 3 verdicts today. Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh. What's the common factor? And that's where, you know, it's quite stunning what I've seen. All 3 states, the chief ministers are being elected back. I mean, with varying margins.
Yeah.
In hung assembly, either way, the sitting chief minister is ahead of his rival. We thought, or many of us thought, anti-incumbency is the dominant theme. What's happened? It's been, in a way, softened by these welfare schemes and freebies, whether it's Ladli Behna in Madhya Pradesh, whether it's Chiranjeevi in Rajasthan, whether it's the farmer schemes in Chhattisgarh. So people have weighed options and maybe they trust these leaders. Trust जो होता है ना, वो politics में बहुत बड़ी चीज होती है. You trust शिवराज सिंह जी वो
But it's
पैसा
happened. But Rajdeep, it's happened before. 2012, you had Prakash Singh Badal in a state which was prone to incumbency, Punjab. He comes back, breaks that, the thing. Then in 2016, you had Jayalalitha who came back, Tamil Nadu. Then 2021, you had your friend from Kerala, Pinarayi Vijayan, who came back.
Ma'am, one thing. In the what has happened? Himachal Pradesh, BJP lost.
Yes.
Sitting chief minister, Karnataka, BJP lost.
True, but
and
it
there was
happened.
suddenly a sense
Yes.
that anti-incumbency is back. Now, if these results hold, and it's still a big if, because Rajasthan, some channels are giving the BJP, Chhattisgarh is close, but clearly Madhya Pradesh is one-sided.
But
It means that an incumbent who's trusted, who has been a proven, जो है ना जिसे कहते हैं कि वो हमने उसको परखा है और उसको परखने के बाद हमको लगता है यार वो हमारा काम कर देता है. My sense is they are willing to stay with it, even though at the local level, huge levels of corruption. Let's be clear, the Patwari scam, all kinds of paper leaks in Madhya Pradesh have taken place. Uske bawajood, if you win a 2/3, what does it also say about the quality of the opposition? I think Madhya Pradesh is as much about Shivraj as it is, if these numbers hold, about the Congress.
Failure of the
The Congress had the same faces, doing the same politics and not being able to give a new narrative to the people of Madhya Pradesh. You can't just win saying मुझे हटाया गया in 2020, गलत तरीके से हटाया गया, मुझे वोट दो. वोट ऐसा नहीं मिलता है. You need new faces with new energies and ideas.
Rajdeep, first of all, your words would be very comforting to KCR. And second thing is,
yes, they will be. Yes, they will be. Yes.
And
Tomorrow we'll have KCR.
It's not that Congress did not try. You look at Madhya Pradesh, the Congress under Kamal Nath, avoided a kind of this Hindu-Muslim narrative. There was no polarization. He projected himself as a very effective Hanuman Bhakt, etc. They tried everything in the book. It's just that it didn't work.
Do you know that he fought with Sunil Kanogolu, the election analyst of the Congress, refused to accept the candidate list that was given to him by Sunil, saying, no, I don't accept any surveys. I know my politics. Now, I'm saying Kamal Nath is also a tested politician. Let's be fair to him. He's won, 10, 11 elections, which is no mean feat. But if he loses this election, which was an election to win 6 months ago, questions will have to be asked whether his strategy went horribly wrong. I mean, you play this soft Hindu politics. नहीं, मेरे पास महाकाल बाबा है, तुम्हारे पास ये है, मैं भी अपने हमारा what was it called, पुजारी कोष्ठ, पुजारी सेल शुरू करा, वो सब ठीक है. You can't out Hinduize the BJP. That is not going to happen. That's not going to happen. You have to convince the tribals, the poorer people of the state, like Gehlot did, कि मैं तुम्हारा साथी हूँ. That is how you win an election, according to me, at the state level.
We're joined at this time live on this broadcast by the Home Minister of Madhya Pradesh, Narottam Mishra. He's been controversial in many ways, but if the BJP ends up at 152, which is the middle level of that range, and the Congress at 76, Narottam bhai, आप तो हमारे स्टूडियो में आके डांस करोगे फिर ये तो बहुत बड़ी जीत हो गई. लोग सोच रहे थे फंसा रहेगा, हो सकता है कांग्रेस आगे रही, यहाँ तो बीजेपी की स्वीप है मध्य प्रदेश में.
मैंने प्रारंभ में ही कहा था राहुल भाई कि क्लीन स्वीप करेंगे हम. हमारे पास में मोदी जी का चेहरा है, शिवराज सिंह जी के काम, मोदी जी के काम, जनहितैषी काम, अब एक साथ जब आ जाते हैं तो क्लीन स्वीप होता ही है. और भारतीय जनता पार्टी क्लीन स्वीप करेगी.
नरोत्तम जी, चेहरा शिवराज जी का या चेहरा मोदी जी का या डबल इंजन?
मोदी जी का चेहरा है, डबल इंजन है, शिवराज सिंह जी भी हैं. पहले भी हम पिछले 20 साल से इसी तरह से लड़ रहे हैं.
नहीं, पर फिर क्या था कि
नहीं,
पर ये तो चर्चा थी कि 3-4 महीने या तो शिवराज जी को बदलना है या किसी और नेता को प्रोजेक्ट करना है. शिवराज जी के पोस्टर भी नहीं बड़े लगे थे. केवल आखिरी महीने में मैंने शिवराज जी के पोस्टर देखे. बाकी तो आपके 12 के 12 लीडर, आपका चेहरा, उनका चेहरा, सब एक साथ थे. कुछ तो बदल हुआ है.
नहीं, सामूहिक नेतृत्व तो प्रारंभ से ही है और ऐसा नहीं है मध्य प्रदेश में हुआ है. आप 5 प्रदेश देख सकते हैं, उसी तरह से चेहरे लगाए गए हैं 5 प्रदेश के अंदर. और ये मैं मानता हूं कि वास्तव में मोदी जी का व्यक्तित्व है, उनका ऑरा है, उनके काम है, शिवराज सिंह जी के काम है. और डबल इंजन सरकार लोग चाहते हैं, इसलिए डबल इंजन सरकार आपके सामने है, आपके एग्जैक्ट पोल में है.
छा गए सर, आप आइए, जश्न मनाइए. तो बड़ी जीत है आपकी. अगर आप जीत गए तो बहुत बड़ी जीत होगी ना. तो मिश्रा इज सो एक्साइटेड
है कि हम जीतेंगे 100%.
आप मुख्यमंत्री के तो रेस में नहीं है ना?
नहीं, मैं नहीं हूँ.
श्योर.
जिस बेल्ट से आप आते हैं, दतिया की सीट है सर आपकी. वहां पर जो पूरा चंबल एरिया है, उधर जो ज्योतिरादित्य सिंधिया है, कितना प्रभाव पड़ा? आपको क्या लगता
बहुत
है?
प्रभाव पड़ा है, बहुत प्रभाव पड़ा है। मेरा नहीं, सिंधिया जी का पड़ा है, मेरा कोई प्रभाव नहीं है।
Arey, वाह, क्या बात है. Narottam Mishra being humble on a day of a massive victory. That's interesting as well. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us.
Thank you, thank you.
I told you earlier that
Thank you.
the magic of the India Today post-poll study is that we're able to give you a seat-by-seat breakup of every single seat in the state. And what that means is I can also drop a power map, which means I can look at what the map of Madhya Pradesh is likely to look like if these trends hold versus what the map of Madhya Pradesh looked like in the last assembly elections. Let me fire up EI 3.0. As I said, this magical analytics engine really kicks into action on Sunday, counting day, as the live numbers are coming in. But to get a sense of the kind of capabilities our analytics engine has, I'll just fire up the Madhya Pradesh data for you. And you'll be able to see the kind of breakup that, forget it, no Indian channel for sure, no international network can do either. On the exit poll data, projecting for the first time the new power map of Madhya Pradesh. If you see, and I can isolate just the BJP seats as well, a sweep of saffron in all the 7 regions of Madhya Pradesh. There's no region of Madhya Pradesh, including in areas where the Congress had done really well, where the Congress is ahead. The Congress down 38 seats from the last time, 276. And if you see, they are really isolated to pockets. It's the BJP that has done phenomenally well across the state. I can compare the last power map of Madhya Pradesh with the current one. So spend some time. Can the camera zoom in, please, so you can see it much better then. On this side of the screen is the 2018 assembly election results, where there's a lot of blue spread across. On the right side is the new map of Madhya Pradesh. This is what Madhya Pradesh is likely to look like on Super Sunday if the India Today Access My India data holds. And if you see the power map, there is a very big, strong saffron surge across the state of Madhya Pradesh. And one of the reasons why the data is what it is because of the way women voters in Madhya Pradesh have voted. Remember, the Ladli Bahena scheme was seen by Shivraj Singh Chauhan as being a game changer. I want to walk across and show you how the women of Madhya Pradesh have voted. It started at 1,000 rupees, went up to 1,250. If there is any one scheme which changed the course of this election, it has to be Ladli Bahena. There's a problem there because in some senses, while of course there's empowerment, there's gender welfare, it's also a freebie, money coming straight into your account, which is what the BJP doesn't want to do, but that's the scheme that seems to have swung this election in their favor. See this data very carefully. The Congress has 41% male votes. They had 41% male votes last time. They have 40% female votes, which is one more than the last time. So the Congress roughly is where they were. So they haven't done badly in Madhya Pradesh. The big difference is that 50% of the women voters of Madhya Pradesh, that's 10 more than the Congress. 50% of the women voters have voted for the BJP. That's up 7% from the last time. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the single biggest reason, all panditry aside, this is the single biggest reason the BJP is sweeping Madhya Pradesh. They've gained amongst the men as well. From 40, they've gone up to 44. That's a big lead. But if there was one reason that you're looking for, if you're wondering, this is not what I thought would happen in Madhya Pradesh, this is the reason why Madhya Pradesh seems to have voted the way it has. 50% women voters saying they voted Rajdeep for the BJP. This basically is good news and bad news. Good news because, hey, you won Madhya Pradesh. Bad news because it's essentially a revdi.
No. The question is, what is the question we'll debate? What is a revdi? Is giving 1,200 rupees to a woman revdi? Because, they'll say they are the ones who run the house. They need the monies. In fact, the BJP is saying we'll raise it to 3,000. The posters in Bhopal are saying, abhi to 1,250 diye hain. 6 mahine baad dekhiega, hum aapko 3,000 denge. Now, I want to know, Chetan writes a lot on this, when the Prime Minister says when the Congress does it, it's a revdi. When the BJP does it, is it a revdi or is it women's welfare? How do we see it? A free mobile phone in Rajasthan, is that a revdi to women? Is 1,250 rupees a month a revdi to women. I think we need to, understand what is a revdi.
Okay, so let's dissect what is a revdi. A revdi is a sweet which is not a very expensive sweet and not a very consequential sweet. Like you don't give revdis as gifts or have them in Diwali. It's a very basic sweet, right? The idea is it's something inconsequential you're giving. Now, in that sense, having a monthly payment, it's not inconsequential. But at the same time, fiscal responsibility is something, even though whether it wins election or doesn't win election, that's a separate issue. But I think as responsible citizens, one needs to understand where does this stop? Well, why not 10,000? Why not 20,000?
It's going to happen.
Okay, I just want to come in.
I mean,
because I
is
see
there a
this
number?
work.
Comes free.
So I've spent, I've talked to enough women there, and one must understand and maybe make a demarcation on what is revdi and what's a welfare scheme. Why I do feel that this is actually a welfare scheme is because it's not given to every woman. So it's 2.5 lakh per annum. If your salary is less than that, then you can access this scheme.
Preeti, it is 1.21 crore women out of 2. It is almost 50% of Madhya Pradesh's women.
I'll give you an example. Rajdeep. I see it as a welfare scheme, but as you get closer to Bhopal and you talk to the bureaucrats there, they've thrown up their hands. Most of them who talk to us off record say that we've stopped every other scheme to fund this particular scheme in Madhya Pradesh. It's a state which is already neck deep in debt. So yes, you get all of that. But when I look at it on ground, it changes a woman's life. You must understand that. And that's why we see that 50% vote share for the Bharatiya Janata Party in the tribal belt. If there are 3 women in the household, 2 of them will get 1,250 rupees per month. The other one, if she say the grandmother, is getting an elder widow pension. So that is 600, which they promised they're going to put it up to 1,000. It changes the dynamic of that household.
I'm not so sure it changes any dynamic. The man in the house, Madhya Pradesh, dare I say, is still a very male-dominated state. In fact, one of
like every state.
No, not like.
States.
No, sorry, ma'am. Though in Madhya Pradesh, in fact, one of the angry comments I got was from men, ये सब महिलाओं के लिए करते हैं, हमारे लिए क्यों नहीं करते? And they will take the money from the woman if necessary. The fact is, I'm not sure whether it's going to transform the lives of women in Madhya Pradesh.
The writing is on the wall.
It doesn't empower you.
The fact is the writing is on the wall. It's 50% of women have voted for the BJP, so don't say they don't have agency.
No,
don't say that
but
they
it
don't have
doesn't
agency.
empower
They
you.
do have agency.
I don't believe it empowers the woman. I think a woman is empowered when she gets something far more tangible.
Women in Madhya Pradesh, if you're looking at agency,
I would prefer girls' education. Please give free girls' education right across the board. That will empower a woman much more than 1,250
But Raji, this is textbook conversation. You put hear me out. You put 1,250. Okay, I'll tell you a household that I spent in, a tribal woman's household. She didn't have money to educate her daughter because वो बस का पैसा कहाँ से आएगा? क्योंकि वो I was in Mahakaushal. Where will this woman go to her college? College छोड़ दिया. Now this money comes in, she takes out 500 and she gives it to her daughter.
No, I'm not saying.
And by the way, women in Rajasthan
it's a cash handout, ma'am.
Women in rural Rajasthan have as much or less agency than women in Madhya Pradesh.
Sure, but whether you give it to a man or a woman, it's essentially a cash handout.
Of course it is.
It's not something just a minute.
Right.
For example, you're saying in Karnataka, one of the Congress's guarantees, which is that women get free bus rides. Yes, as a result, a woman might. To my mind, a free bus ride for a woman gives a woman far greater autonomy to move around than she would otherwise have. The 1,250 cash handout in my view is a cash handout which you could be given to the woman or the man. Essentially, you're giving it to because you recognize people at the bottom of the pyramid. Even 250 rupees make a difference to their life.
So can we get to the
That's what's happened. Whether you call it a revdi or not, it's a cash handout.
The BJP has been in power for 20 years. If they could not build school or they could not provide, transport to a woman or a girl going to college, etc., whose fault is it? And nothing comes free. This is all. It's not just taxpayers, money. It is also people, ordinary people, poor people who are paying GST. Who are paying GST. Even if you buy a 5 rupee, biscuit, you're paying GST for it.
No, but that's a rhetorical argument because in the end, electorally, it has worked.
It has worked. Today, it has worked.
It is financially disastrous and there can be no.
Mr. Rahul covered. Are you aware what is the debt?
Remember 2019?
What is the average debt on a resident of Madhya Pradesh? 56,000 rupees.
So what's another
one individual?
No, so can I just defend this compared to, let's say, old pension? Where I have a huge problem is going back to the old pension scheme, which is essentially ensuring government employees are on your side throughout. At least there I agree with Preeti, the woman in the house getting 1250 may give her even more agency than she has today, and all good for
And
that.
also, you know, it's
all good for that.
Can I make a point?
And it is,
Yes, Rahul.
it is also easy. You just send the money, the chances of corruption are much lower.
DBT में तुरंत
सीधा
जाता है.
भेज दिया, account transfer हुआ, there is no middleman.
No, in fact,
How is it a game changer if everybody is giving it?
Yeah.
yes, Rahul.
I think we are making the same mistake, which is let's not basically try to explain the entire election outcome by one single factor.
Oh, sure.
What is happening in Madhya Pradesh, if these numbers are correct, it's a landslide victory for BJP. It's higher than even perhaps 2013, meaning that many things might have worked
Not
in their
just
favor.
this.
This has given some additional benefit for sure, but other things also worked, right? And
No, according to me, the other thing is the other side. If these numbers are good, I compare, Rahul. In any election, you are going to compare who's on the other side as well, right? Kamal Nath is not some... If these election numbers are right, I keep saying this because Kamal Nath may tomorrow turn around and say everything that you said was horribly wrong about me. Because he's been around, as you said, for 30, 40 years, tried, tested. Digvijay Singh had his 10 years as chief minister. You don't even now put him on his posters because you think I put Digvijay Singh on posters. I am reminded of Bantadhar and the roads being, all the holes in the road. So the Congress in Madhya Pradesh is going to need a generational change, right? The BJP might have needed it if Shivraj had lost. Will the Congress do that? You see, the Congress has
but they have no option.
Right.
If this is the result, Kamal Nath can pack his bags and go home.
PCC chief after Digvijay Singh lost, and all three, one of them was Arun Yadav, a very young face, Kandilal Bhuria, they all failed. Then they brought Kamal Nath.
See, one difference between Rajasthan, if Rajasthan is a swing state, Madhya Pradesh has all characteristic of a dominant party
BJP
state, right?
yes.
BJP has been there in power for 18 years. In last,
Absolutely.
like
Good
75
point.
seats have not been won by Congress in last 3 elections. So, given the numbers, BJP has some kind of organizational and popularity
In
advantage.
fact, you're
the
absolutely
state.
right, Rahul. It's a bit like Gujarat,
Yeah.
except for the 2018 election in Madhya Pradesh and to some extent the 2012 election in Gujarat. 2017 election in Gujarat. These were the two elections where the opposition came close. Beyond that, Madhya Pradesh, whether it in general elections or in state election, I think there was one general election where the Congress did reasonably
even
well.
when-
Otherwise, it's a BJP ruled state. I think Rahul makes a great point. It's a BJP dominant state.
Okay, what we want to do now is take the caste-wise breakup of the vote share of Madhya Pradesh, and what this will do is give you a sense of how the different communities in Madhya Pradesh have voted. So I'll take you through the main castes and the breakup for these castes, and then that will give you a sense of where BJP's leads are largely coming from. So coming up on your screen now, the caste-wise breakup of Madhya Pradesh, and I'll start as always with the Dalit votes, the SC votes, which is about 16% of Madhya Pradesh. The Congress having 45% of them, the BJP 41, that's up 4 from the last time. Amongst the tribals who constitute 21% of the state, 43% voted for the BJP, 46% for the Congress. Congress leading amongst the tribals and the Dalits. Amongst the OBCs, and looking at some OBC categories and some are in the next sheet, but 56% voting for the BJP, 32% voting for the Congress. That's a big gap there. Amongst the Brahmins, who are about 6% of Madhya Pradesh, 58% voting for the BJP, 30% voting for the Congress. The BJP gaining 16% from the last poll. Can I come to the second sheet, please? Because when you look at the voters in the general categories, 9% of the voters are general category voters, out of whom 57% say they voted for the BJP. The Congress had 81% of the Muslim vote. Muslims are about 7% of Madhya Pradesh. The Congress had 81% of the Muslim vote. The BJP had 48% of the others who were left. So a very, very strong performance by the BJP in Madhya Pradesh. So this is really kahin khushi, kahin gum. Congress with the edge in Chhattisgarh, Congress potentially could be in the lead in Rajasthan. One-way traffic in Madhya Pradesh. We'll slip into a quick break right now. When we come back, we're going to shift our focus to Telangana. We've got Mizoram still left. We have Telangana, a lot of buzz and excitement about Telangana. And is there a surprise in store in Mizoram? So we'll have all of that for you. when we come back on the other side of a very quick break. Stay with us. We're back in a moment and we'll talk about Telangana.
You are watching India Today, powered by Finest, Be Sustainable Change, a B&P Group company.
We live in the age of EI, election intelligence. India's most powerful analytics engine is ready and raring to go. Seats, votes, margins, swings, strength scans, strongholds, cutting-edge live insights powered by India Today's data intelligence unit. No network can compare. No channel can compete. Your one-stop destination for live election analysis. Election intelligence, only on India Today.
Weather forecast now. Delhi, maximum 26 and minimum 15 degrees. Mumbai, maximum 27 and minimum 23 degrees. Kolkata, maximum 31 and minimum 19 degrees. Bangalore, maximum 25 and minimum 19 degrees. Chennai, maximum 28 and minimum 23 degrees. Hyderabad, maximum 26 and minimum 20 degrees.
You are watching India Today, powered by Finest, Be Sustainable Change, a B&P Group company.
We have said that they have consistently given space to anti-India extremists and violence, and that is actually the heart of the issue. Our diplomatic representatives in Canada have borne the brunt of this. So we expect the government of Canada to live up to its obligations under the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations. We have also seen interference by Canadian diplomats in our internal affairs. We've said this from this podium, and that is obviously unacceptable.
I wanted to speak to the news coming out of the United States on India. From the month of August onwards, we have been working closely with our American counterparts, with partners around the world, on the very serious allegations that we shared in September that we believe India was involved, agents of the government of India were involved in the killing of a Canadian citizen on Canadian soil. The news coming out of the United States further underscores what we've been talking about from the very beginning, which is that India needs to take this seriously. The Indian government needs to work with us to ensure that we're getting to the bottom of this. This is not something that anyone can take lightly. Our responsibility is to keep Canadians safe, and that's what we're going to continue to do.
Presented by Aapka Joy, Bharat Ka Joy, Joy e-bike. Co-presented by Nexa, Create Inspire. Co-powered by Parul University, Vadodara, Gujarat.
Our continuing coverage of the big exit poll, the Axis My India exit poll for the 5 battleground states. And we've already given you the results of 3. And Rahul, they have thrown up surprises that have really shaken up the political ecosystem.
And that shows how conventional punditry is often very different from the post-poll studies, which are far more precise, far more accurate. At least that's what the track record of the past decade has been. 90 out of 94 polls, right? In this hour, we're going to focus on Telangana and Mizoram. Pradeep Gupta is back with us. Pradeep ji, everything quite different from what the popular narrative was.
Yes, what to say, Rajdeep. And popular narrative, I just want to mention that it is mostly 90%, more than 90% time comes out of urban areas, and that to big cities, even in urban area, big capital cities and all that. And we all know for sure, even in India, 70% is rural India and 30% is urban. When I say 30% urban, it contributes 6,000, it includes 6,500 cities and towns. Not 10 metros, not 25, 30 capital cities, not 100 big cities, 6,500. Still, there are 600 plus thousand villages which contribute 70% of population. And these 70% population, 100 vote cast, 80 comes from rural India. And they live, their livelihood is less than $100 a month, less than 10,000 a month. So what are you talking about?
You're saying that 70% is what often gets discounted in many of the analysis.
Yes.
The focus is excessively on those who live in the 30% metros and smaller towns. Rahul, you're going to come to Telangana in a moment. But let's just get Pradeep going on these numbers and get me also going a bit by looking at all the states. We'll go one by one with each of the states that we've declared so far in our exit poll, and we will give you the big numbers of these states. And then I want Pradeep to tell us which is the one he's most worried about. If there is any that he should be worried about, any caveats that are there. Take a look at all the 3 states that we've called so far in the Axis My India poll. Madhya Pradesh is the big one. 140 to 162 out of 230 to the BJP, 68 to 90 to the Congress. Kamal Nath looking rather glum there. Mayawati much the same, 0 to 2, a state where she really hasn't grown, 0 to 1 to others. So others also taking a hit amidst this sweep in Madhya Pradesh. So Madhya Pradesh, 47%, 41%, 6% gap in a 2-cornered race. Prediction is for a clear sweep. Shivraj Singh Chauhan set to become Chief Minister yet again. Then take a look at Rajasthan. Rajasthan, remember for the last 30 years, the same parties have rotated every 5 years. This time, we're saying out of the 200 seats, the BJP 80 to 100, Congress 86 to 106, BSP 1 to 2, others 8 to 16. 199, 1 seat has been deferred because of a death. So clearly the Congress has the edge, but a potential hung assembly could also be there. But this could be a break of the rivers of Rajasthan. The good news for the Congress there. And we then take a look at vote share, and it is very tight. 41% plays 42%, BSP 2, others 15. But a 1% gap can translate into a clear lead in a state like Rajasthan. Finally, Chhattisgarh, where remember, what we are predicting is again, some would say against the conventional grain. Congress 40 to 50 out of 90, BJP 36 to 46, others 1 to 5, which means that it's advantage Congress, Bhupesh Baghel, but the BJP is not out of the race at the higher end of this spectrum. So Chhattisgarh could also go down to the wire. Take a look at the vote share in Chhattisgarh as per the Axis My India poll. Congress 42%, BJP 41, again very close. BSP 6 and others 11 could be crucial. Pradeep Gupta, you've seen all these numbers. My whole theory, if we get the numbers right, I'm taking the credit. If you get it wrong, you take the blame. What's the one that you are most worried about? 3 states, there must be one that you're worried about. You'll also have a sleepless night.
I'll tell you. All these 3 states has different dynamics. Let's take one by one. MP, my only not worry, but the concern is that Mahakosal region, their Congress could gain 5 to 10 seats more. That is where something, important.
अरे ये तुम्हारा घर है.
घर है, इसीलिए तो बोल रहा हूँ. So that is something in Madhya Pradesh, and Madhya Pradesh you are forgetting last time also, after 3 terms, BJP government, anti-incumbency, their vote share was 41%, and even then Congress couldn't cross the majority mark. What had happened last time, the upper caste party, particularly in Chambal region, they formed the party called SPOX, and so many Brahmins and Rajputs, which is in bulk in Chambal region, they joined the hand.
And also what happened as a result, and we should tell our viewers, when this happened, immediately the BJP decided 10% reservations to be given on the basis of economic criteria.
Yeah, now
and I think we should have said that. That's an important factor in Chambal. Gwalior, the upper caste may have gone back to the
now
BJP.
Coming to this time, what had happened? Can you imagine the Gadbandhan or the alliance of Adivasi and Dalit? Madhya Pradesh is dominated by 21% of Adivasi population and roughly around 19-20% of Dalit population. This time, and this is used to be the core vote bank of Congress, they formed the alliance. What had happened, the situation? In Chambal, in Bagelkhand, in Bundelkhand, these are UP bordering regions of Madhya Pradesh. Dalits are in bulk, and BSP has been gaining good vote share, denting the prospect of both the parties at times. The other side, the Adivasis, which is in Mahakaushal, which is in Malwa, contributes half of the state as far as number of seats is concerned. Their Adivasis are in this thing.
So why have they come? Why have they switched from the Congress to the BJP in your view? Kyo badle?
Purely delivery. It is not
just one scheme,
not
but
one scheme. It is from since 2005 when Shivraj Singh came to the power. He came out with Gaon Ki Beti to Ladli Lakshmi, which is very flagship scheme, to series of women-centric scheme. It's not 1, 2 or 3. It's just not that he's been called Mama. There is a reason to it. And I myself has interviewed so many women, and they are saying, Mama जो हमको सब कुछ देता है, उससे हम दगाबाजी कैसे कर सकते हैं? And the biggest story among Dalit and Adivasi, male is voting more to the Congress and female to the BJP. In my own constituency of Varasuni, where Pawar Jati, OBCs, population is 30%. After 35 years, there was a Pawar candidate fielded by the Congress party. Even among them, male is like one side and female is other side. I have voted so many female. They are saying nothing doing. Nothing doing.
If you were a money manager, there are some who like to be outliers. Pradeep Gupta is not managing money, he's doing the polls, but he likes Chetan to be an outlier. He just likes to poll after poll, break away from the pack and say something different. Ki thoda kuch bhaukali karte hain. It's a bit like that. Because this is going against the grain of conventional wisdom in Chhattisgarh, where the Congress was supposed to be sitting pretty, going against the grain in Rajasthan, where the BJP was supposed to win handsomely, going against the grain in Madhya Pradesh, where the Congress had to have the edge. Inko har cheez ulti bolni hai bhai.
Well, I mean, that's the hallmark, right? If you follow the herd, then you're not going to be exceptional. You're going to revert to just the average. And he's clearly, he always trends on...
He's always playing against the odds, Rahul.
And he's always right after that.
94%.
94%. I mean, that's very high.
So, just to repeat what Chetan said, I think one advantage which Access My India and Pradeep ji has is very, very large sample size. And basically, because most other polls, either they don't do face-to-face or they don't have this kind of sample. And so this basically gives him a very high advantage.
And he's polled at least thrice.
Yes.
So he's not just polling in a post-poll scenario. In the build-up, months earlier he's polled once, weeks earlier he's polled once, just before polling. So he's got 3 rounds of pre-poll surveys. We don't show that on TV. We only show the post-poll data. So you've got 3 rounds against which you can match whatever comes in the post.
And he keeps polling, not just on elections, but on other things. So he has sort of like district level, constituency level, much more information to be able to match what's happening on the electoral front, because all other demographics also.
So Madhya Pradesh done. He's also a bit of an outlier in Rajasthan. Most of the others are predicting the BJP ahead of the Congress. My sense is you've got Madhya Pradesh right. The more I see your data, I can't see any reason to that you My worry with Pradeep, where you and I have a problem is Rajasthan. I think the Congress and the BJP are in a dead heat at best, if not the BJP having an edge. Why are you saying so convincingly Congress ahead?
In Rajasthan, the most important factor is the rebels.
Others.
And the others. Rebels and others is one of the same thing. They become rebel and join smaller parties because they have the advantage of symbol, you know, like BSP or ASP, CPM. CPM, of course, no rebels join CPM. But, and what you are saying and what I am saying, there is hardly any difference in my poll and what you are saying is only 6 seats. And as far as vote share is only 1%.
So Madhya Pradesh could go, Rajasthan could go either way.
Of
You
course,
agree?
that is what we have shown.
So kaun banega Mukhyamantri in Rajasthan is an open race.
Definitely, yes, definitely. Because see, as high as 18 independents or rebels or smaller parties.
Okay. With all this said and done.
Should
Now Mizoram.
we do Mizoram?
Let's come to Telangana.
No, let's finish Mizoram and then go to Telangana. What do you want to do?
Where is my bet? He's going to stand
Let's finish all these states and then get
Okay, let's do Mizoram because it's an interesting state, Rahul.
And he's going to stand
Okay, don't take, we are being told by our producer, she wants us to wait. Telangana, why are you, okay, Rahul Kanwal is going to be asked the question. He decides on this. Why are you not today, Rahul Kanwal, giving us the Telangana numbers?
So basically what we want to tell our viewers is that in any poll where people are still polling and the exit pollster has to give his numbers, you increase the probability of getting something wrong. It's happened in the past. So what the Access My India team and the Inner Day group have decided is that we want to hold over Telangana till tomorrow. It's a single phase poll. It's also a situation where if you've done a pre-poll study, remember a lot of pollsters, and I'll take you through what the other pollsters are saying in just a moment, a lot of pollsters have done a lot of pre-poll study, which means before the polls have been cast, like essentially for all practical purposes an opinion poll, they've done an opinion poll and they're merging their opinion poll data with some level of exit poll data. Now that is dangerous because in the people you polled in your opinion poll, some people may not actually go out to vote. So if there are 6 people sitting here and you do an opinion poll here, maybe 2 never went to poll. So in your sample, you're skewed by the fact that some people never showed up despite saying that they wanted to. So it's much safer to poll those who actually went and polled because you know that they've actually cast their votes, they're real. Then you can do a stratified sample and see that these are real people who voted, not those who said they'd vote, but maybe some of them didn't. So all that said and done, we've decided, and Pradeep, do you want to explain this? Is that a bit of a cop-out? या फिर आप उल्टा लेके आओगे कुछ आपने ऐसा ट्विस्ट करना है इससे चलो पहले बाकी बता दे फिर मैं बताता हूं
Whatever you said is right, whether they are going to poll or not to go poll, but also the uncertainty. Whatever they say, and on polling day, if that change, then how you are going to capture that? Because they feel, whoever our people and we approach, their first doubt is you are sent by a political party. Because you know lots of money getting distributed before the election.
So they want to check if the money they paid yielded results.
Yes. You know, so that is also worrisome factor.
Also, you know, it is a tight race. And when you have these tight races in a smaller state like Telangana, you need to take some time to process the data. You remember Haryana. Yeah. All the channels got Haryana wrong because they went on the say it's a single day poll. You go in, you take your numbers, 530 people are still voting. And you've already gone and given your numbers. All the channels got Haryana badly wrong, except Pradeep to his credit at the time, because we did the poll a day later. It gives you time to process. And Rahul, let's be clear. Huge stakes in Telangana. As we've been discussing, I don't think I've seen an election where so much of attention is being paid on a state, because Telangana, particularly with these results, now becomes critical. For the Congress to have a good day in the office on the 3rd of December, Telangana is almost make or break. Yeah. Because if you win Telangana, then the Congress has some bragging rights and actually has a foothold completely in South India, and a regional party has been pushed on the back foot. On the other hand, if the Congress loses Telangana, then the Congress, with the sweep that the BJP is likely to get in Madhya Pradesh, will be desperate to ensure that Hung Assembly mein Gehlot Sahab or Baghel Sahab humko bachaye. So I think Telangana is a critical election to get right. People are watching us very closely on Telangana. And Pradeep wants to go and spend some time in Hyderabad.
And because
right?
for us...
Otherwise, usko biryani nahi milegi next time wahan.
And for Rajdeep, everything is election on his plate. But for us, polling is not a gimmick. If this was just about getting eyeballs, we'd put Telangana out because we do have initial estimates from there, but that would be very risky and premature. We'd much rather work harder to preserve, to the extent that we can try, our credibility, our reputation and our track record. So it's better to hold it back for a day, even if to some of our viewers it seems like a bit of a cop-out.
All the other exit polls are saying Congress is going to win, but Congress can't celebrate because Pradeep has not given his numbers.
हमेशा उल्टा ही बोलते हैं ना. तो अगर ये बोल रहे if the others are saying the Congress is going to win Telangana, everybody else is wondering why is Gupta held his numbers back? Is he going to say something?
8 out of 9 exit polls have given BJP Rajasthan.
8 out of 9.
Ours is the
He's an outlier, boss. He's an outlier. Now, I want to tell our viewers...
Sorry, can I make a... I think it's also important. When there is a wave election or one-sided election, then you can do election night forecasting.
Yes.
But when it is very, very close, it's always better to wait because just last 2 or 3 hours of vote can tilt the balance. And second, sometimes what you need to do is look at the turnout patterns. And you only become clear about the turnout patterns in the evening once the election commission gives you the final number.
No, and sometimes men and women vote differently.
Exactly. So that
and unless you know what the final numbers are.
Exactly that
Just speaking of data, Rajdeep, I want to tell our viewers that I earlier mentioned the fact that India Today had 10x, at 1.50x the viewership of our closest competitor in English. It has more viewership than all the other English news networks put together. I've just been sent by one of our top producers a data point that says that India Today is being watched more than any other Hindi channel as well. There's only one Hindi channel that's ahead of us, which is Aaj Tak, which is our sister concern, so we're very happy with that as well. So, number 1 is Aaj Tak and number 2 is India Today. Baki koi hai hi nahi boss race mein.
Dekho, Rahul,
this data we are fully confident about. This is the correct
data. This is YouTube data, right?
This is YouTube.
This is YouTube data, so it's actually more accurate than TRPs, which can be easily, you can have landing pages and buy TRP. That's another point. But I just want to come once again to Telangana, because I think we need to spend some time on what's going to happen there.
So can I go and explain, in Telangana what I did is, we aren't showing our data today. And Gupta ji, remember, always say something different from what the others are saying. What he's saying, he's not telling us. It's not जेब में तो नहीं आपका तेलंगाना का कहीं बताओ लेके घूम रहे कि अगर मेरे को देना पड़ा. What I'll do is...
No, he has given the numbers to Owaisi and not to me.
You gave the numbers to Owaisi? क्या किया?
There is a rumor. First of all, this video that we did has gone viral. I want to tell our viewers, we just tried to pull the mickey on all of you by doing a video before the exit polls where we pretended that we knew the numbers. It's gone viral. People are saying, how could you do it? Aapne nautanki kar di. But he has gone and given the Telangana numbers to Owaisi.
Owaisi is a very dear well-wisher of mine.
Achha, chalo.
So you gave him the numbers?
I don't know why.
Boss, check, we are signing, we are saying you've given Owaisi the numbers. Kya kar rahe ho?
I do not have the number, how can I?
No,
had I had the number, why should I wait for tomorrow?
The truth of the matter is, one senior leader said from Telangana, can you please tell us the numbers? I said, sorry. Please watch the channel tomorrow, 6 p.m.
So let's be clear.
Channels were after me. I said, boss.
No, but it's not as if we don't have the numbers. The numbers for Telangana are in, but those are initial estimates. See, when you're doing an exit poll, your pollsters, your surveyors are standing outside the polling booth speaking to people as they come. When you're speaking to people as they come out, you're not being able to do a scientific stratified sample. You're just speaking to random people. So you could be skewed. Your sample could be skewed because you could end up with more of the same kind of voters. You could end up with more upper caste voters or more Dalit voters or more Muslim voters because you're standing outside. And in polling booths, typically, there is a concentration of a similar kind of voter. Like if it's a Muslim area, you'll find much more Muslim voters and you simply don't have the time to ensure that you've actually done a scientific stratified sample, which means you've got in your survey sample roughly the same percentage of voters as they exist in society. So you want roughly the same percentage of Muslims, roughly the same percentage of Kapu, roughly the same percentage of Velma as they exist in the state of Telangana. And to do that, if polling starts at 7 and finishes at 5 and to finish it by 3, boss, anybody who's marrowing that tukka, hats off to you because that's very, very premature. So we just want to be safe, but we also want to show you what the others are saying. Gupta ji will tell us what he's saying tomorrow. In the meanwhile, let me show you some of the other polls. Not that I believe any of these polls, most of them I think are bogus, but for what it is worth, here it is. CNX, Jan Ki Baat, Matriz, Chanakya.
I think they've got it.
So CNX is saying 63 to 79. Remember, Telangana is a 119 seat assembly, so you need 60